Two, three.
All right. Pleased to have Mr. Kennedy. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's
Yeah.
a pleasure.
we were delving into conspiracy theorists.
Yes. Of course. Because the world is changing nowadays, and some people don't want it to change for their profit.
Sure. Did I send you that video? Was it a video or they were talking about ChatGPT?
No, you didn't. You said you're going to send it to me.
I think I
You
did.
came to my place and then you said, no, there's ChatGPT because we saw it on Podcast and Chill. They were talking about it.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
And then I also started to look it up. And then I remember when I started looking it up, they said they're actually updating ChatGPT to the latest version.
Sure.
Yeah, and then now it's actually quite improved.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? It's better.
Yeah, just move it closer to you. Yeah. Just move it here. Yeah.
How's this?
Yeah.
Better?
Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I don't want you to. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm using ChatGPT a lot.
Are you serious?
I'm using it a lot. For those who will be reading my WhatsApps, just know that ChatGPT is just making it sound more nice. My captions, they sound nice, and I mean, it's like Google on steroids. You see how Google
So basically, you just input what you want, and then it just gives you the answer.
gives you all the answers that you need.
And then you just read accordingly and edit where you want to.
So let me tell you what I've done so long. So I've asked ChatGPT to help me with the timestamps for my podcast
Yes.
on YouTube. So I say, so I try to be respectful when I'm chatting with ChatGPT.
Yes.
You never know what these machines can think.
Course, yes.
So that they don't look for my descendants. The next 100 years, like we're gonna exterminate everyone from his line. So I try to be respectful. So I write, "Hi ChatGPT." So it always is like a machine.
Are you? So now that brings me a question. Before you answer, sorry, it brings me to the question: are you also thinking that ChatGPT will lead to a Terminator type of world?
It's
Why are you respectful? Why is there a certain fear to respect ChatGPT?
I was talking to John Mazanga, right? And then he said, ChatGPT is so superior that the way it looks at us, it will look at us as so inferior to it.
Yes.
Because, I mean, like, this thing is, like, it's really brilliant. And remember, it processes everything in an instant, right? So the way that he put it, he said that ChatGPT or AI or AGI or whatever API. There's so many AIs.
Abbreviations to yes.
Yes. So the way he put it is that the way we are, ChatGPT, we'll be like the way. Let me just actually quote him. He said, "You have never seen human beings going to kill ants."
Yeah.
Like you never see human beings just going to kill ants. Like, yeah, I'm going to kill these ants today.
Yes.
You understand? That's how small we are to artificial intelligence. So to it will be like. So when I was making fun, I said it will be like us doing dog tricks. You know, you said dog doing 1, 2, 3. You're like, oh wow, this dog is actually cool. So artificial intelligence is going to be way ahead of us because of the amount of information that it has.
Yes.
And whether it be like clinical psychologists, because the clinical psychologists, they study human beings and how they behave. And I mean, if they were to create an artificial intelligence, because remember now, we're just typing. So what if we now start translating it to a robot, which has specific, specific functions?
Yes.
Because there's going to be different functions. Yes. There's going to be a robot which cooks better than us.
Yes. Which is fine.
Yeah, going to be a robot which relates with you way better than your girlfriend
Yes.
or than my wife.
100%, yes, I understand. But now, it brings back the question I have. If you're saying that, will it might relate to us, but will the robot have emotion? So is emotion quantifiable?
These questions, and I actually like your questions because these are the questions that I've been always asking Mr. Mays.
Okay, yes.
And this is what he said when we talk about emotions, right? So he says, so one of the statements they like saying is that we have never been here before.
Yeah.
Like in history.
Yes.
Like
true. Yes. This is
we have never here before. So this is like a trial run and everything, right? That's why the idea of AI, it can either go like extremely bad,
yes,
where we go to,
good,
or extremely good, and we find a way where we actually coexist with each other. Where you find AI creating robots for us to do 1, 2, 3 for us. I mean, like we like symbiosis in a sense. So getting to emotions, what I've noticed is that AI, this is taking from what Mr. May said and some of the things that I've just been thinking of. AI is taking all its morality, quote unquote, from us. So, which means being greedy is going to take, because we are the ones who, so Joe Rogan says that we are the sex organs of what? Of AI. So we are the ones who actually giving birth to AI.
Yes.
So things like greed, AI will be learning from us. Being selfish.
Yes.
So that's emotion at the end of the day.
But wait. Think about it. If AI is as intelligent as it is,
Yeah.
right, and it's thinking more logically than any human could ever think, right? My question is, right now AI is in the development phase. Let's say it is as smart as it is, right? It would have no motive, because it's in that development stage, to try to eliminate human beings. It's gathering information, and it would come to a conclusion or an outcome or a result saying that this answer is this is the most logical I could give it to you, without any emotions, right? Or putting aside the greed that you are telling me about, right? If we are birthing it to, then you're saying that, yes, emotion is quantifiable. As much as a robot can love you, as much as a human can love you.
I think on that, because if you look at how AI ChatGPT has been set up now, ChatGPT has been set up to accommodate the ideas of this time that we're in, right? Some of the people that I actually follow a lot, which is Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you know him, right?
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
So Jordan Peterson says AI is super woke. you know, Musi is pushing the heterosexual relationships and all those other stuff, right? So he's saying that AI is super woke, right? Because him as a clinical psychologist, and that means he's tried to do to test its ability to answer certain questions, which of some of the stuff that he believes in, right? So ChatGPT or AI now, as we are programming it, we are programming it to speak into the world that we're living in today.
Yes.
So which means everything that we're seeing today, our moral campus, quote unquote, it's what AI is learning from. But the good thing about AI is it also has the knowledge of all the books that are there.
Yes.
So you might find that there are civilizations of how they are practicing what we're actually practicing now, but with it has so much history, and coming to what you were saying, that it can give you a better logical answer.
Yes.
And the logical answer could be these guys, they can destroy themselves. We have they've been here on this earth for so many years, but they just can't even find a solution of making everyone happy.
Yes.
Let's say maybe AI actually sees that everyone actually can be happy, everyone can have an ideal soft life. And they realize that these guys couldn't even share the resources that they already have. So what is the logical conclusion for AI? Would AI now want to eliminate us because we are too greedy and leave themselves to conquer the space and
terminate? Hey?
Yes.
So now I would think about it like AI is a system breaker, right? It breaks the system.
Okay.
So I do not see the doom yet. I do not see the doom. I see, yes, the picture of it can be very much
the possibilities, yes.
The possibility that there is doom. But right now, I do not see the doom of it, but I see the advantage of it. The advantages of it breaking the system of how the current system operates, right? If AI, we give it more power, we give it more access to our finances, we give it, then it should be able to detect anomalies. Anomalies in the banking industry, anomalies in the finance industry, anomalies saying that there's corruption, there's money missing in these certain areas that can assist us to move forward, right? I do not see, because how it is, I do not see it saying since, let me say, Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson has been making money for this much. Let me assist Johnson & Johnson make more money.
Okay.
I can't see that outcome because it logically does not make everybody happy as much as the way you are saying. So right now I see the benefit of it improving humanity as a whole instead of the destruction of humanity. I think maybe because I'm more optimistic of it, maybe I accept the change and I accept the changes that are happening worldwide. But I am aware that there is a big fear of it. That's why I was asking you, are you saying that are you fearing it because you feel that there might be a doom if I'm not kind to this ChatGPT?
Sure.
And if I'm rude to it or I say something out of turn, it might look me up in the past to say, this is what you did. It can then now. Then it's as if you're saying it's going to become our God at one point because it's judging you based on what you did.
I think being God, unfortunately, it can't be God, because being God, it introduces the spiritual side of things.
No. I'm saying it based on it will judge you and judge. I agree. We as our beliefs, God can only be the one who judges you.
Yes.
So now AI will be the one who judges you based on what you did in the past. And
it wouldn't be judging me per se, but it will be judging my descendants.
Yes.
Because we don't know how. I think just speaking to the mic so that it can see.
Let me move it closer.
Just hold it there and just move it closer to you. So at least my listeners are like, these guys were talking so nice, but we can't hear the guests. What's wrong with you?
Okay, I know 100%.
They'll come for me, these guys. Yeah. So I was saying that, the next 50 years or 20 even, they're going to radically change our lives.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
not even 20. I would say next
5 to 10. Yeah.
5. The symptoms are already happening.
Yeah, we can actually see it now. And on the podcast with John Mazang, we talked about World War.
Yes.
Like the way the Americans and the Russians are moving. If we were to get to a chance where we experience World War, is it 3?
Add China into there.
Yeah, because the thing is, the way things are happening now, I just saw a clip of a Kenyan, I don't know if it's a president or something, saying that We're no longer going to be trading with the Americans. So you can see that. So the book says that. What did he say? The new world order playing in front of our eyes.
Yes.
Then I told him, have you read this book called The New World Order? Have you read it?
No, I haven't read it.
Amazing book. Literally just talking about the agenda of quote unquote the Illuminati. And if you just read that book, it's by. Let me look for the name.
You need a fact checker there.
I really do. I seriously do need a fact checker. I seriously do need a fact checker.
It's a good book though.
Amazing book. It's one of the books. You know when you have read a book and you never put it down?
Yeah.
This was one of the books.
Okay.
Oh shucks. I actually switched off. I deleted all my stuff, so I forgot the thing. But it's called The New World Order.
The New World Order. Okay.
By Ralph something like that. But it's an amazing book. It talks about everything from LGBT, where we are now, families being broken, attack against Christianity, the New World Order in terms of money coming to one bank, one finance and everything, moving to one religion. And I mean, those are some of them are prophecies from the Bible.
Yes.
But there has to be someone who's going to be facilitating all this stuff.
Yes.
And that's why you actually start. Some people have to actually respect the Bible. As much as people say that the Bible came with a white man, which is not true.
A Bible on the left hand, the gun on the right.
Yes, that's so true because I think Penwell, you know Penwell Mose,
Yes.
yeah, the black pen. So what he usually says is that the thing is with black people, we have been very kind, and we have that thing called a spirit of Ubuntu.
Yes.
We are not the type of people who would like doing wars and everything.
Yes.
And chances, maybe the reason why we're saying that is because we have not got an opportunity to actually own nuclear weapons.
Yes.
If we had the nuclear weapons, maybe it would have panned out differently. Because
yes.
imagine South Africa now, we have nuclear weapons and we are busy threatening everyone. Like, okay, no, it's fine. I'll just press this button. And the next thing, we are all out here.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But the history is not with the black people in terms of violence against each other. It has always been with the white people or Caucasians, if you want to put it that way. They've always been fighting. Even now, you can see that still Americans and Russia.
100%.
And this war is literally going to... Because literally things are happening in front of us. And, you know, people are so complacent. Complacent in the sense that you see Russia going to Xi Jinping, going to say that, okay, guys, we're no longer going to be trading in the dollar.
Yes.
I mean, that's big.
It is big.
Like, it's literally that our world is changing. And
I wouldn't say complacent. What can they do?
the thing is, you see, what we are so worried about our lives. We don't try to zoom out. You know, they usually say that be able to come out of this, if you want to call it the red race, come out of the red race and zoom out and think, where is the world going?
Okay, Musu, on that note, you said that Russia changed, they don't want to trade with the dollar.
Yeah.
Right? But Russia's not the first one to ever say this. Gaddafi said, let's trade with gold.
Wheezy.
They killed Gaddafi.
Sure.
Right? So some changes are not necessarily, they might be dangerous, but they're not necessarily bad, especially for Africa. Africa right now is in between the Americans and the Europeans. One side is BRICS side, who they want to partnership with Africa, and then it looks more lucrative to partner up with Russia and China against America.
Sure.
America's saying that, listen, it's coming to Africa, let's keep how we've been operating throughout the years, right? And we'll give you a little bit more of what we've been giving you throughout the years. To me, when I look at it, has it been beneficial to listen to America? No.
No, it has never been beneficial.
Has it? This partnership. This is the first time countries have ever came to Africa to be like, listen, let's talk. Like, don't look at those guys. Talk to us. And let's cut a deal between me and you.
Yeah.
We'll give you more of this, more of money, more of this, so that you guys grow as fast as possible. Yeah, but those ones are going to keep us how we've been throughout the years, right? And making political moves using us to our own disadvantage.
Yeah.
But for us moving, I hear what you're saying. There can be a rise of war, but nobody wants war. And war is bad. War is never a good thing, right? Especially for Africans. Africans, we never look directly to go to war. It's never been our point. We've already seen so much suffering in our continent already. Ideally, just going straight to war is not our, but looking at our own countries and trying to grow our own countries and put our own countries in a much more beneficial way is what everybody is striving for, and every president is striving for. Some maybe might be wanting to grow their pockets, which is understandable, but I look at it, what's happening right now. It can either go, as much as ChatGPT can either go very good, and it can either go very bad.
Yeah.
But the bad is more outweighing the good is more outweighing the bad for me.
Yeah, I think on that, just to give maybe several examples, there have been so many countries where America decided to intervene in the wars or civil wars, and it turns out nothing really goes well.
Yes, 100%.
The moment they get involved, the war doesn't stop.
Yes,
and it's just a mess.
Yes,
and talking about this is sometimes Americans might think that we are against them, but we're not.
Yes.
But in movies, they've been indoctrinating us that when when the whole world dies, America is the one that stays there. And you understand? And they've been the superheroes, and unfortunately, they have also been the villains. And you actually start seeing them as villains now because we are no longer washed by their media.
Yes.
Because we've been seeing the media all the time, seeing them as good guys.
Yes.
Where the Americans come, it's like, we know that our heroes are here, right?
Yes.
But you see with the way that they're doing things, let's go to the idea of misinformation, right? That during COVID-19, if you're talking about something which is not according to the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, you're being censored, your content was being pulled down, and you see that's the strong arming of normal human beings, normal doctors.
Yes.
This doctor is saying that, hey guys, I've been treating this, I've been giving them 1, 2, 3, and it looks like it worked.
Yes.
I tried it with so many people, but they've been forcing people to use vaccines.
Yes.
And only later on he realized that it seems like Pfizer has so many things, so many side effects that actually
Some are saying Pfizer is a spread of HIV or something like that.
You see, there's so many conspiracy on that, right? So you actually see that there is so many things that they have been strong arming us on, and like literally the pushing of vaccines. It was so rapid that even to get a job, you couldn't get a job without having been vaccinated. You can't travel without having a vaccine.
Yes. And to think that it wasn't even properly tested Pfizer before they pushed it out.
Exactly.
It wasn't I understand what you're saying.
You understand what I mean? So it's a build-up that they are just reaping their the inventor, we call it Pt.2. Pt.2 is like what happens in the Pt.2. Just to explain for someone who doesn't understand, is when you take sand, right, and you put it on top of your skin, right, and you start rubbing
it.
You're rubbing up until you actually get a sore. So that's so we call it Pt.2. In full, I think this is an idiom or proverb, I don't know, one of the two, right? So we say Pt.2 and Chironda Chewa de Itera, which means Pt.2 is a soul which you created yourself. So basically, the Americans now are drinking their own Kool-Aid of being the bullies, and you actually realize now the tables are turning.
Yes, very much.
And that's why I actually appreciate the podcast with John Mazanga, because he was talking about the downfall of the Roman Empire.
Yes.
So he's talking about, so he says that I've been studying the downfall of the Roman Empire. So when he's explaining it, he says, remember the downfall of the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire was controlling two-thirds of the whole world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
And what they did is, you think that a big superpower like them can never go down.
Yes.
Right? But where are they now?
Yeah.
They're just part of history.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? And some of the things that we were explaining that there were so many things that made them to be the biggest superpower, which is training of soldiers, and the story, writing a story. Because if you don't, he says that if you don't have a story to teach or maybe to tell someone, people might not really believe, because there's no story that connects with
back it up.
For example, like the American dream.
Yeah.
That's a story.
That's a story. Yes.
And
100%.
everyone wants to be like the American
dream. Yes.
American dream. You
They,
understand what I mean?
they won't go to America thinking they're
Exactly.
going to be in the American dream as
Exactly.
well. Yes.
You understand what I mean? And there's so many incentives in that system that they've already built. And the way he was explaining it is, the way that they fell was one of the ways, I think, I'm just quickly paraphrasing. He was saying that what happened is that American dream, it started falling because people no longer stopped believing it so much. It's like, you see what's happening now with the Americans.
The Americans, yes.
We saw them as, I'm like, in our age,
Yeah.
we always saw Americans as the good guys.
Yes.
We always saw Obama or Bush. These guys, apparently, they were really killing lots of people.
No, they were.
You understand what I mean?
Definitely.
And that information has been washed by the media.
Yes.
But all that information is now coming back to us and telling us that, okay, guys, Obama's not that good. Yes, he was the first black president,
but it was not
he was
good
very
for them.
presidential. He has a good family. He is nice. I mean, like, he's like presidential, like I said.
Yes.
But the wars that he fought, imagine a guy like Trump, who is being painted as someone who's a lunatic, crazy. In his time, he actually
It was more beneficial to America than...
he actually deployed the... Is it deploy or to bring back the guys who have been fighting wars for no reason?
Even their economy grew a little. I
Yeah,
think,
he did.
He dropped the interest rate for them. Like it was better
Jobs.
in Trump's run than it was better in Obama's run.
Yes.
Right?
Even now in Biden's,
Yes.
things have just went down.
Yes.
And you realize that Trump, and I'm not saying that I'm a Trump supporter, but I'm just saying that the media has been pushing that Trump seems like this mad guy
He doesn't know what he's doing.
who doesn't know what he's doing.
Yes.
And yes, he's rough around the edges, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he was not actually delivering.
Rough it's a little to describe.
It was a live wire.
Rough around the edges. Here, Trump was how can you describe that, man? Trump was a wild card. He was the Joker when you're playing.
Sure.
When you're playing 8 cards, when you throw him, hey.
You can just match with anything. Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, 100%. America. That's why I'm saying I am happy at the position where things are right now. And the downfall of America is coming, but it's coming little by little. I think last week about the banks. You know, I heard about what do you call this place? Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley banks.
Yeah.
That you see, those are just trickles of what's really happening. That little by little, the downfall for America is coming, and now they were questioning about interest rates increasing, and they were going crazy whether they're going to increase to 0.25 again, whether they're going to be stabilizer again. It was such a big ongoing, and at the same time, this Brexit thing is happening. Putin is coming to South Africa. People are against it. People are not against it. People are saying, "Come, we are welcome here."
I saw Julius Malema. It's like, if it be, we will go take him at the airport. He will come and do whatever he's doing, and then he's gonna take him back again.
Yes, which is true. Like,
And you see, like, for example, what he was saying, Julius Malema, on the, you see this ICC, the International Court, something criminal court. They saying that they want him arrested.
Yes.
And what he was saying is that, hey guys, we understand that you want to arrest him, but you guys sounds like you're a bit hypocrites. Obama did worse, and George W. Bush did worse. But
why aren't they?
Why haven't you
arrested
them?
Why are they in a vacation relaxing?
You understand what I mean? And they're still speaking. They're still having press conferences, which apparently those guys, when they...
Now, my issue is, Moose, I hear that. To simplify it, why are we arresting someone who has done nothing to... Okay, let me not say nothing to Africa, but let me just say has not hurt South Africa.
No, I think what's happening is why they want to arrest him is because of the war crimes in Ukraine, and because he's actually invading Ukraine, right?
That's our business.
But remember, what's happening, the reason why we're saying that it's our business is because if someone is being demonized by the Americans, right? That means, because, I mean, going back to the reason for the war. So, Ukraine wants to join the NATO, right?
Yes.
And the whole situation there is, apparently, if you join the NATO, that means the Americans are going to now plant their nuclear bombs in the neighbor. So, which means instead of the thing just shooting, taking so long just to... They already have a tactical, a neighbor. And you don't want to have that kind of situation where...
in your own borders.
You understand what I mean? 100%. It's like the Russians saying that we are now siding with the Mexicans.
Yes, 100%.
America won't be happy.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Sense,
so, which is why we're still coming back to the thing of saying that why are Americans trying to... Because the moment Americans get into anything, Ukraine is going to end up being like was Afghanistan, was Syria. Because wherever they are, there's going to maintain war. And the thing is, with them, fortunately, there have been a treaty that we're not going to... Russia, they're being told that don't use advanced weapons. Imagine. This guy said, okay, we're going to fight, but don't use advanced weapons. It's so weird, this war.
It's very weird.
You understand what I mean? It's like,
it's very weird. But
we can fight.
I like the fact it's none of our business.
But it is our business, because remember, oil, ever since the war started, because remember, literally after COVID, the next big problem was the war. Because when the war started, all of a sudden, everything is just hiking.
No, I'm saying it is none of our business to be involved within the war.
No, but we don't have a choice.
So what are you saying? We're supposed to pick a side?
We have to pick a side, because remember...
so you're saying we're supposed to... I'm saying in terms of supporting the war.
No. This is what is happening, right? They're not giving you a chance to not participate.
Yes, 100%.
So remember, there was a time when Zelensky is coming out and said that we are calling all countries in Africa to join, to assist us and join what? Ukraine, right? America comes out then and say that we want every African countries to to come and join, right? So what they are basically doing is they are lobbying. They want us to join so that at least all the countries are against what?
Russia,
right? And I mean, this is a big step for Russia to join against China. Because basically what's happening is China ends up being what? More of a superpower.
But you see, what I'm saying is none of our business, just to go back to it, is that a lot of countries, when that happened, went neutral, saying, no. This war has nothing to do with my country. Right? Kenya, I think Ghana also said, no, you can have your war, but this war has nothing to do with us.
With us, yeah.
Directly. You guys entertained this war. America you started this war. Right? When Russia said that if Ukraine joins NATO, be sure that I'm going to fight. And then if you fight, and I'm willing to go as far as nuclear bombs. Africa was like, hey, why are we getting involved? This is none of our business.
But the thing is,
here in Africa, we have too much to worry about. People
see-
are still hungry here.
You see with that, right? It's true, but the big boys will never allow the small. It's like when that's what they say about when two elephants fight, the grass and the ants are the ones that suffer.
Yeah.
So we're the ones who are gonna end up suffering.
Yeah, it's true. Yes.
Because the big guys are fighting, and they want you alliances.
Yes.
Because remember, even the reason why even we South Africans were saying that we are siding with what do you call this, with the Russians or the Chinese, is because for the Russians specifically, apparently they were helping
Yes.
the ANC government and
apartheid,
all
yes.
the Mkoto Sizwe and all this other the military arm
Yes.
of the opposing party. So they were bringing what do you call this,
Sisters,
AK-47 and all those stuff.
sisters during the time. Yes.
So basically, is they've invested, and now they are reaping the rewards
Yes.
of assisting the South Africans.
Yes.
Right. So when now Russia says that, hey, we need your assistance. It's like you see that, hey guys, we isn't together.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
So we can't say that we are not involved, because it's affecting us. Because remember, even there's stuff that we're even trading together.
Yes.
Apparently, we realized that sunflower, which is cooking oil,
Yes.
we don't necessarily make it ourselves,
Yes,
but it's
we
coming
get it
from Russia.
Yes.
And you realize that this country of ours, we thought it was producing, but you understand what I mean? So the war actually made the thing go skyrocket.
Yeah.
Because right now, even like literally after COVID,
Yes,
after
I saw.
COVID, things were still fine.
We're still fine.
The prices didn't really go up or
But
down.
when the war started,
But when they just finished the COVID and the war started, literally everything just went
Shut
up.
up, yes.
Because remember, they are also controlling the gas. So that means they're also exporting gas
Gas is
somewhere.
yeah.
So which means the trucks are, everything is literally affected. And you realize that we are working and you have to feed your family, you have to feed yourself, you have a lifestyle that you've already started. And you realize that if this is happening, you're too worried about the price going up than you worrying about the possibilities of war.
yes. Which is the same mentality Africa should take. We are too worried about the impact of what is going on.
We can't really
internally.
but we can't really do that because of the prices going up are being caused by the war.
Yes.
So
It's 100%.
if the war really escalates, things are not gonna be like fine. So the way John Masanga was explaining it, he said, which I actually need to listen to that podcast
again, yes.
not necessarily the one that I had with John, but this other guy called Dan Cullen. So he basically he's an historian. He's not a historian. He's like someone who goes into a deep dive on history. It's very good. There's another one called Human Resources.
Yeah.
Amazing. Human resources. Human resources is it sounds like a good word, but it's not a good word. It's coined.
I saw a clip. They were saying in a company,
Yeah.
which is the only department that can do something and never say and never acknowledge that they did something wrong. Human resources.
Exactly. You see, so human resources, the way that he was putting it is on one of the one that I did, the podcast that I did with Mazanga before this one, the latest one. He said this human resources was coined in the days of slavery.
Yeah.
Because human resources basically means that humans are being used
As resources.
as resources to get work done.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So, where was I going with this?
Yeah, because of the raw. Link it back to you wanted to link what you're saying back to the raw because of the podcast that you wanted to listen to.
Oh, yeah, Dan Cullen, yes. So I want to listen to the one about, he says there's another one which is out, which is The Destroyer of Worlds by Dan Cullen. So it's basically talking about how devastating, so now I remember, how powerful a nuclear weapon is. So apparently, like you see how because South Africa is huge.
Yes.
Like it's literally huge.
Yes.
apparently one of those nuclear weapons
course, can
literally wipes
Yes.
us out.
The problem is not okay, it is a problem. It's not the impact, but the radiation. Yes. One of the problems is that the radiation, once it hits, it could blow up, let's say, the whole of Pretoria, right? But the problem is that the radiation might spread throughout the whole country and kill everybody, affecting everybody. So that's the biggest problem.
Oh, I see. So it's not necessarily destroying the whole country, but the radiation is the one that
The
messes it up.
radiation is the problem.
And they usually say that if you see an apple, even though you see the apple, no, looks like it's fresh.
Yeah.
No, don't.
You're good.
You understand what I mean? And
Yeah.
the effects of that is children start coming out defected.
So many cancers and
Cancers.
problem.
Exactly.
Like it's just it destroys the whole system.
Yeah.
Basically.
So just to think of something that's devastating. So that's the Destroyer of Worlds, Dan Carlin. Maybe I'll start listening to it tonight. And at least, but human resources. Yo, that guy.
And I'll listen to it.
And it's amazing. It's an amazing.
It's a podcast, no?
Yeah, it's a podcast. Yeah.
I'll listen to it.
I like how he explains because he's giving you history lessons, but it's like he reads and explains.
Okay.
He brings, okay, this is where it's coming from. This is how it started. This is how it's moving, and coming back to the war is the war. Even though we are saying that we are worried, we don't want to worry about ourselves. We're only worried about ourselves. All the stuff that are happening now is because of the war.
Yes.
And if the war starts, things are just going to go.
Means what takes priority? Like I understand what you're saying 100%. I also think about it in terms of your family, right? And you live inside the jungle. There's leopards, there are lions, monkeys who, when you plant your food, they steal your food. That's your environment, causing the situation of where you live, right? Same thing as the war. The war is the environment causing the situation of how we are living right now, right? But if your child inside the house becomes sick, which takes more priority?
The child.
The child. So when I'm saying it doesn't, what happening, it really, maybe I might have phrased when I'm saying it's none of our business or we have nothing to do with it. What happens internally must take priority than what's happening externally.
Exactly.
Right? That's why when I'm hearing what America, and I see those problems, but we have our own problems as a nation of Africa and a nation of the continent of Africa, and that must always take priority than what's happening in Ukraine and Russia.
Sure.
That's what's happening there might be impacting us, but at the end of the day, what's happening in our own house will always take more priority than what's happening externally. They may kill each other. That is fine. They've done that for years, centuries. They've been killing each other.
Sure.
They were killing us. Now they decided to point each other with guns. You're right when you said, what's it, the black pen. You said, You're right when you said it's not our nature to just go straight to war. We have a certain, that tribalism. I disagree with him when he says if we had nuclear bombs, I think we'd still live the same.
No, that was me. That was me saying that. Just that we have not been developed nuclear weapons.
Yes.
Because
there was a time we wanted to make our own nuclear weapons.
But you see now, these guys, they think they're clever. Apparently, after that Hiroshima thing, right? It's like the manual of creating nuclear bombs.
Nuclear bombs, yes.
It's like it was hidden, and then Russia started doing their own protesting, and they got it. And when they got it, they started sharing with other countries.
Yes.
And then when they start sharing, they realize that, hey, almost every country will have nuclear bombs.
Yes.
So they put measures to stop what countries from making nuclear bombs.
Nuclear bombs, yes.
That is why Now with Kim Jong Un,
He's busy
he
testing.
probably, because if you check documentaries of how South Korea is, literally, see, when we were growing up, we was just seeing machines, and the cars were like Corolla, those old
Yes,
Corollas.
yes.
That's where they are.
Yes.
They've not moved to Wi-Fi. They don't have Facebook.
they don't.
No,
Yeah,
nothing.
yes.
But those guys, they are exploring nuclear weapons.
Yes.
And you realize that, okay, so, and the big companies, the big countries, they respect South Korea.
They have to.
Even though it's not whatever. Because you actually see him doing his parades
Yes.
with all his soldiers,
They have to.
with all the
100%.
bombs and everything, you understand?
Yes.
But you see now, us as Africans, we have not been afforded that opportunity to say that we have a strong military, which is able to fight as well, which is able to do 1, 2, 3.
Not say fight, but say have the power to say we have.
A competent military.
Yes.
And weapons as
and
well.
weapons, yes.
And to think of it, we have the
The
what is-
material.
the minerals,
Yeah, the minerals
To-
uranium.
steel,
Yes.
uranium. I
And
mean, all
develop
this
our
stuff.
own, yes.
We have all the stuff, but we don't create our own.
Because we can't. Like we signed. The
Yes, so that means now even if they just hear that you're trying to create a nuclear weapon,
it will be the same thing as America invading Iran again, saying that they're developing nuclear weapons.
exactly. You understand what I mean? So you get you get to that point where you realize that, okay, so it's the big boys wanting to remain big boys, and I think maybe to close this conversation, not necessarily close the conversation, but maybe to talk about moving to war. Allow me to preach a little bit.
Okay. Yeah,
Right?
no, it's fine.
This is what makes me realize, because this is just a thought I've just always been thinking of. It's an interesting thought that I always think. You see how spirituality, and to be specific, Christianity.
Yes.
The one big idea that I always think of is this is why probably God is going to come when AI is so strong, or when AI is so advanced, and when He comes through, He will come and show the AI that we have created and that we respect, and come and show that who's the boss. You understand what I mean?
understand.
And that's just a fantasy on my end, in a sense. It's not something that I have proven or whatever, but it's something which I always think about, that this Almighty God, this God that we say that we believe in so much, He will come. You see how we are saying that we are so afraid of AI? He will come and show that AI is a small boy.
But the thing is, you see, I hear you.
Sure.
100% hear you. But now, think about it like this. What if AI helps us to a point where... before I go where I'm thinking about...
Yeah.
Let me go back to what I was initially thinking about. We might not need a nuclear weapon to say we are powerful as a country, or powerful as a continent.
Okay.
What if one country decides to do things differently and outshine the other countries of how they operate, right? In terms of, and by using technology, right?
Like Wakanda.
Yeah, yeah, like Wakanda.
Sure.
That is a beautiful example. Instead of it being that mineral, what do you call it?
Vibranium.
Vibranium. It's a certain type of technology
Sure.
that is developed in that country and is making that country prosperous, right? That will be our nuclear weapon. That will change how other countries look at us.
But you see now what happened with is it Congo,
Yeah, Congo.
where there's cobalt and all
Yes,
this other
yes.
stuff. Apparently, they said they are causing war.
Yes, but
In
that didn't
Congo?
start now.
Yeah, but that's because they actually realized that this country is loaded.
Yes.
It has so many minerals, like it's
That
literally.
started- way back.
It's literally the Wakanda,
Yes.
right? So we already have our Wakanda,
Yes.
but we're being played now. You see?
No, we have been played. Like this is, they've known about Cobalt for how many years now? They've started that war in Congo for how many years now? And it started. There was actually a movie about this, about FBI agents being implanted in Congo to initiate a war and fighting amongst them in each other. Even the Tutsis, and that was actually implemented by
Rwanda and everything.
Rwanda,
yeah,
yes,
sure.
the US.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, what I'm saying is that, on this time, in our generation, if something were to happen, like that, unfortunately, that they killed that boy who created the car that's powered by water. If something certainly were to happen, and in that aspect, and it blows up, and instead of him being killed, it actually, the government protects and uses it to grow the country.
Yeah.
That will be a super weapon for us.
Yeah, but unfortunately, is, you see, which is coming back to the same thing. We already have that power, but we have not developed ourselves.
Yes.
Like, for example, how many times ever since we were growing up, we always said, "Oh, we make the gold, but they always process it somewhere else and they sell it back to us."
Yes.
That has been the narrative. I don't know since when.
Yes, 100%.
Which is coming
because
back
we
to
didn't have furnaces that
we don't have
process.
exactly.
Yes,
we don't have the machines.
Yes.
We don't have all this stuff,
100%,
right?
Yeah.
And it's coming back to the same thing. Like, even though we get whatever resources, or if we were to find
Or an
maybe
idea or a
or
concept.
a big idea of anything, it's going to be so hard for us to actually maintain it. Because for it to come out, let's say for example, someone who was trying to move in the direction of having to make one Africa, one currency, Gaddafi, where is he?
He's dead.
He got eliminated, right? So the moment you are a threat to the people who have power, and like it's especially even the oil guys, and because they're the ones that also are managing all this other stuff. You understand what I mean? So even though we want to create all this stuff, it won't be allowed to just change society like that.
But now, if governments are willing to stand with each other and say that we're going to use gold to trade with each other as a trading medium, then things will change.
I think in history, remember they used to do that. They used to trade with gold.
Yes.
But carrying gold all the time, it's heavy.
No, we wouldn't trade. They peg it to the CBCD. What C, B, C, like this, our own cryptocurrency.
Sure.
So they peg it to your cryptocurrency, right? So how we trade, we'll trade the cryptocurrency, but it will be based on the gold.
I think it's the same concept that they're using now.
Yes.
Because the concept that they're doing is, okay, the American dollar is banked by the gold bars, which they have in the reserve banks.
Yeah, but the American dollar is not banked by them. It's not.
Yeah,
the American dollar is just the print of dollar and saying that it has a value.
That is why I'm saying that at the end of the day, the big banks, the world banks,
Yes.
they have bars of gold
Yes.
as a reserve to say that, okay, this is how we what do you call this? It's like an insurance.
Yes,
That
100%.
even though we print out so much money,
Yes.
we know that it's backed by the amount of gold that we have already inside.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? So whatever, I think this system has been evolving, but the set of rules have already been set. And the only way to actually participate in this economy or in this world is to be like them.
Yes.
That means if it's in capitalism, you become a capitalist as well, and you manage yourself in a sense. If even though you're becoming a capitalist, let's say if you're the one who's actually selling all the phones, it's like what the iPhone is doing. You are selling phones which are very good, and then you get to a point where everyone wants to just use an iPhone.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? yes, that's how you participate into the capitalist thing, and then that's how you secure. That's why they start talking about old money and new money. Temekwa likes talking about it a lot.
Yes,
that old money shows off, new money shows off, but old money is just relaxed and it's just taking. And you see it being exposed here in South Africa.
Yeah, 100%.
With different families. I'm not sure about this Rothschild and everything. I've not done research on that.
Yeah, the Rothschild is our version
Oppenheimer.
of the Rothschild is Rupert.
The Rupert, yes. Yeah. And I mean, like, those guys are actually linked to the Rothschild at some point. Yeah, so the Rothschild seems like are the ones who are actually, they said, someone when they were actually making an example, they said, everywhere where the sun puts its, where the sun shines, they own land there.
Yes.
So you see, here it's dark in South Africa, where the sun is now. Those guys, they have some piece of land anyway, where the sun is going to shine.
Yes.
So you realize that these guys have so many stakes, even though there's this other concept that we're trying to do now, which is buy black.
Oh yes.
And it's a good idea, and it will be a bit sad if we are buying material from the white guys and we make our own businesses and buy black. We say we are buying black, but we're still giving the same guys money. It's like the Ruperts.
Yes.
The
cycle will always go back to them in a sense.
It's like what they talk about the Jews. That the Jews are here, especially here in South Africa. They talk about Bidvest. Apparently, the Jews, the Ruperts, and everything.
Yeah,
it's them doing Discovery. All these big companies. It's them.
Yes.
So even though you say that you want to go away,
yes,
all of them. Even though you try to say that we're running away, maybe it could be black money if the people that we're supporting are starting to give back to the country, to the communities.
Yes.
So let's say if instead of having to buy clothes at a certain shop,
but now it's also now a level. Hey, now you're going deep because it's also now a level of programming. Are people going to support you even if you're going home to produce stats? Are they going to go?
I think the indoctrinating literally changes the cycle. Because even me now, when I buy stuff, I realize that, I'm still chained. I'm still buying. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
But that means what we have to do now is we have to try, because even when I was listening to Podcast and Chill today, they were talking about how hard it is to get into the market.
Yes.
So you can't just have a shelf space at Spa.
It's hard.
It's so hard.
It's hard. Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So if we were to create our own, I don't know what you can call it, Shepherd's supermarket, right? And Shepherd's supermarket, maybe it's based in Cape Town. And we have so many stores in Cape Town which are coming from Shepherd's supermarket.
And then there's a Woolworths next door. Who do you think they're going to support? The
thing is, that's where the indoctrinating comes in. Because remember that, like I said, I thought I was trying to get out of the system, but I realized that, I'm still bound in a sense. So I need to, what's the word? I need to continuously tell myself that, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yes.
This is what I want to do. I want to buy black. I want to buy black all the time.
You want to support black people, but I'm going to ask you this question. You want to support black people. You want to buy an apple in Shepherd's supermarket. But do you know that the apples that they sell in Woolworths are better? Better in terms of longevity, they last long, the value for the buck. Just as an example.
Yeah. So
what do you do as a consumer? Do you go to Shepherd because you want to support the black person, knowing that even though you're supporting, you're not getting the quality that you're buying?
So I don't know if you listened to the podcast with Penwell and September.
Yeah, I did.
They were talking about
to all of it, but I did most of it. Yes.
There was a part where they were talking about Fargin.
Yes.
Fargin basically is buy back to the Jewish community.
Yes.
So when September was explaining it, he said Fargin basically means that you start a business, right? You like cooking and stuff, right?
Yes.
And I see that, okay, you're making Kentucky Chicken 2.0,
yes.
right? and I come and buy your chicken, right? And I realize that the chicken is too oily, right? So even though there's a better chicken that is fried better, what I do is I come to you and buy to you and say, hey, my man, your chicken is what?
Too oily.
Too oily.
Yeah.
Right? I am supporting you. I'm allowing you to make the mistakes whilst they're still young, small, and allowing you to grow your brand. That's what he was saying.
Yes, 100%,
So
yeah.
he's saying that the problem is not necessarily saying that, because there's always going to be a better quality.
100%.
So he said that no matter how good the other people are, always say that I'm supporting my brother.
Yeah, 100%.
So-
You know, the reason why I asked you that question is for you to answer it, because I was also thinking in the same light. It does not matter even if Woolies gives you a better product, right? It's based on the principle, but now it goes back to indoctrination and how we're thinking.
Yes.
Let me give you an example of Pakistanis. We always complain Pakistanis are everywhere. Like
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
make puzzle shops, but the way Pakistani operates and the mentality of how they operate, it's very like the system of how they operate and the way they support each other. It doesn't
organized.
matter if Mang Mang has a better, but for the mere fact that that's their brother, they'll make sure that they support that brother until he comes up and his business is running by itself, and then they move. Another family is going to come up with a new store, then they'll support that brother until his store is operating and is generating money, and then they'll bring another cousin up to open another business. You see the way they think about it and the way they protect themselves as a unit,
A tribe, yeah.
Yes, it's very amazing, and sometimes you don't see it with our brother.
So I asked Peno. I had the opportunity to actually meet up
him.
with
I
him.
saw it. Hey.
Yeah. So when he came through here, I was like, look, I think the idea of Fargin is amazing, but how do we actually, looking at what you just said now, how do we actually implement it? Because there's that crabs in the bucket syndrome
mentality, yes.
with us,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So he says that saying that we're black is not good enough reason for us to support each other. So when he answered that question, he said that we need to create systems of values. We need to have values that we all agree on, and we say that these are our values as South African black people, rather, or maybe depending. You can always upscale it, but looking at our country, you can see that these are our values. Our values is we support each other, right? And there's one of the things which John Mazanga talked about, which is language. When I speak Setswana, you're like, hey, Brian, you understand what I mean? It literally dismantles all abilities of trading within ourselves, right? So the values, if we were to say, okay, we value our South African level languages, so whether you're speaking Venda, Tonga, whatever, I should always value that okay, you're my brother, even though you're speaking a different thing, but I value you.
Yes.
So basically we're saying that the most important thing is having the same values. When you have the same values, then you can now start building an economy, a community together.
Yes.
Because we can say that we are all black, but you don't have the same values as me.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is what the Jews are doing. They have the same values.
Yeah.
So which means if this Vargin that Temboko was talking about, if they're saying that, okay, whatever we do, we always buy from our guys up until they get it right. You know what I mean? Even if, imagine now, all of us will stop wearing our Nikes,
Yes.
our refinery, or our what, and we just go buy Batu.
Yes.
And what do we call this drip?
Yes.
Or via.
Yes.
You see, we just buy their stuff. And they are also giving back to the communities, small companies or small businesses that are trying out there. You understand what I mean? That way is we are giving, even though we are buying stuff from China or whatever, but that's what everyone is doing.
Yes. 100%.
iPhone is being built in China. You understand what I mean?
Kind of very China.
So if we were to do that, We allow the money. Like apparently, there's so much money in townships. Imagine if all that money is black money.
There's always money in townships.
Yes, you know what I mean.
There's always been money in townships.
Yeah,
Yes.
imagine if all that money is actually black money. It's making sure that we treat our our roads. We make sure that okay, our roads are fine. That's where principles, or what did I say? The principles, values. That's where values come in. You must have the same values. You can't allow a child. Remember when they say that a child is raised by the streets,
Yes, by the community.
by the community.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? Those are where our values.
Yes.
You can't allow a child.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
You understand? So, seeing a child busy jollying at a young age, they don't read books. What's wrong with you? They clap you. Yes. They used to clap you if you're doing something 100%. Wrong. It's like we are in the shop and you're throwing a tantrum. The other parent had the opportunity of beating you in front of, but right now we are woke. We don't want to do that. But that's how we were raising ourselves. Because you can't have a child who is spoiled. We never allow that. You understand? Those are our values. So if we were to also, of course, those values were not necessarily pushing economy. Because in economy, when you had a business, we always wanted passer. So it's not necessarily supporting fully. Yes. You understand? Which passer might be someone can see it as a positive thing as well. Probably.
It has its good and bad.
Good and bad, yes. So we had amazing principles. If someone was to maybe put them down for us easily, nicely, and said, okay, these are our values, let's push towards having this. And which is one of the reasons why I have this podcast. This is the value that we're trying to push. There is nothing but one of the best things that you can give your children, your descendants, is the knowledge that you have as an engineer. Right? Your ability to run a company. Because we have so many black children and black geniuses in big companies. And they are making money for those companies.
Yes.
Which means that they are able to participate in this economy and allow it to grow. Like allow themselves to infiltrate and actually create their own.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? And basically what I'm trying to say is, if I call you on the podcast and we're talking about your work and everything, you are giving back to the community.
Yes.
Because the children, because remember, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, all the children who are living primary, high school up until they start working, we're coming back into the same. It's a process line. You
product line.
The product line. Yeah.
Yes.
You go to school, you work, high school, you go and you start working for someone else. You understand?
Yes.
And you get married if you're getting married, and then you die. And that's literally your life.
Yes.
Whether you're a musician, it's still the same thing. You're just doing art. You're going around, but you're feeding the same monster, which is the economy. You understand what I mean? And if we're saying that we want to try to give back to our community, is to at least have those opportunities of giving someone, of sharing the values.
Yes.
Because the best thing that I can give my children is to say, I'm an electrical engineer. I know how to design a house. So if you tell me, okay, this is what you do, I can literally teach them.
Exactly.
You understand what I mean? That's where the family business comes in. Back in the days, you used to find certain families which are so good with businesses, certain families which were so good with money, certain families which are like athletes, and which is the trade part of things. That's where
my uncle also is a very big believer in how the Jewish operate. So what he used to do, remember when we were in varsity, you and I, and then during the holidays, I'd leave and go to
I remember,
Pick and Pay. Yes.
Sure.
He used to highly believe in that before he lost his business in Pick and Pay.
Sure.
But he used to say that I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this to teach you something. This is how you gain experience in terms of work. You will learn your principles. You learn that you always go to work. A man must always work.
Yeah.
Or an individual must always work. And individuals must always try to grow themselves, even outside of what you're studying, right? And
Sure.
or the principle that you sitting down and being a cashier as someone within the family is to teach you, to humble you. That I'm doing this job, working in Pick and Pay. I'm an electrical engineering student, but even me, I know plastic, and then I know to till up. I know how to cash out. I know how to void.
Sure.
I know the basics of how his business operates. As he would say, if something was to happen to me, I know that the business will be taken care of and will be in good hands.
Sure.
So now, with what we've been talking about, his business was failing. It was going down. I think Pick and Pay was buying back all its family stores.
Okay.
And then transforming them back to Boxer. I don't know
Okay.
if you know Boxer.
Yeah.
He was buying back all his, so he lost his store. But as he's losing his store and he's negotiating with Pick and Pay for a payout and all of that, you would hear what the individuals within the store would say about him and about us. That you're only here because your uncle put you here. Right? The notion, the mentality of how what he's saying and what you're learning from him is completely opposite from a person standing outside and not knowing what he's trying to teach us. Right? Instead of, the mentality would be completely negative and look at you maybe in a negative outcome. Okay, not everybody was negative. He understood what he's trying to do. But most people will be looking at us within the store and be like, why are you here? Like, I'm trying to work. Even though you're helping them to carry the boxes and move them from one point to another, it seems like you are in their way. But you don't understand that I'm helping you. I'm here to help you at the same time grow myself.
I think it's that idea of probably they can't see themselves becoming a store manager because it looks like that position is already taken by you, even though you're coming to help.
Yes.
Probably that's what they are thinking. Do you understand what I mean?
I don't understand.
Like, let's say for example,
I hear what you're saying.
Yes, because
I hear what you're saying. I'm carrying the same. I'm not a store manager. I'm not managing you.
yes,
I'm carrying the same boxes you are carrying.
that's
I'm moving them to, and even if I become a store manager, right, it's supposed to be on merit because
Yes.
he's making me work the same job you're working.
yes. So even though it looks like it's on merit, the moment they see that you are part of the boss's son or the boss's cousin or whatever, in a sense, it doesn't look like they would take
Yes.
them as compared to you who's coming there, because you're coming to learn the job, right?
Yes.
And obviously that's job security at the end of the day.
Yes.
And probably that's how they are thinking. And I mean, maybe there's also elements of envy and elements of other stuff that there are so many layers. But I understand where they are coming from.
Yes.
And probably they're thinking that we won't grow in this company if they're going to come take our jobs.
Wait. Okay, on that notion, I only come twice a year. June, July holidays. Remember, June, July holidays are always long.
Sure.
And December holidays are always long. I only come twice a year, do my job, work for those
Probably
2
that's
months.
That's what
1
makes
month,
it worse.
and I get paid for that 1 month.
Sure.
And then I leave.
Probably
Right?
that's what makes it worse, because they know that you're learning the job. Even though you're doing it for 2 months, they are doing it each and every day.
Yes.
And
Now,
if you get the managerial position
yeah.
ahead of them, that means
But I didn't. Nobody did.
no. I'm just saying.
And
The thing is,
with that mentality, now it raises the question: how do you change the values of someone thinking that?
So what I've noticed is, even these big companies or these big circles that we admire so much, whether it be the Pakistans or the Somalians or whatever that we want to call them, or the Jews, it's not a smooth run.
It's what?
It's not a smooth run. It's not like they don't have conflicts inside.
Yes.
There's so much conflicts inside.
Yes.
They have family, whatever, and there's so many things that are happening.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we have not practiced or tried it out. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So, which means that we will always be worried about peripheral stuff which don't build us, don't grow us. With them, yes, they have family problems or they're fighting, whatever, but it's not something which coming back to the values. At the end of the day, we know what the values are.
Exactly.
We need to build this family name. If it's building the family name, we have to build each other, our whole community.
Yes.
We have to do all this other stuff. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So, as much as there's conflict, they know what is the foundation of this, which is the bedrock of all these things, right? So, it will always come back to that as much as we are at this point, we are not even trying to say we're uplifting each other.
Yes. Oh.
I should be rocking Batu now. They've emerged.
They have emerged.
They've emerged, and we see them on billboards. I mean, Joburg, they're almost everywhere in Joburg. You see their stuff. They've emerged.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's start buying Batu.
Yes, 100%.
Even though they don't look nice, for some of us.
Yeah.
You say, no, I don't like the shoe. No, it looks fake. Or the quality is
But another thing, I think we also need to you know Amaklosa.
Amaklosa, yes.
You saw Amaklosa?
Yeah.
In a canal walk.
Yeah.
The average person the average South African cannot afford that.
Yes, but
A bra cannot be 6,000.
Sure.
7,000.
Sure.
How does an average Joe support you?
So remember, there are things like Gucci,
Yes.
and we're not wearing Amaklosa.
No. I'm 100%. I'm getting to you. But now I'm saying, when a drip is a different. Drip at 2,000.
It's for everyone.
To wear.
I understand.
Yeah, maybe you are right.
What I'm trying to say is this is what I've noticed, because it's so deep that we have stopped eating mashonja.
Masonja, yes. Yeah, but you still
Mashonja.
eat them if you can find them.
This is what I'm trying to say. We can make mashonja so delicate that we charge the same amount of how they make us eat the prawns.
Yes.
Same species.
Yes.
Literally,
100%.
if you eat mashonja and prawns,
Yes.
it's like the same family. They are both insects.
Yes, 100%.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Imagine if we were to really push the delicacy of our mashonja. Like, if you're eating this mashonja, like you see how
Exactly, and
the
get
Koreans
the-
they push their Wagyu beef,
Yeah, 100%.
or the Asians they push their what do you call this, rice and fish,
Yes.
raw fish.
100%. Yes. Sushi.
Whatever it is, I'm trying to belittle it so that you can kind of like understand it, where it's actually coming from. You understand?
Yes.
If we were to now be very proud of our dishes, and the hard body chicken,
You see, now what I like, it's not necessarily a sense of they are pushing it. They are so proud of their dishes that when the Europeans come, they enjoy their dishes so much that when they go back, they say that I enjoyed that specific dish. And now I want that specific dish to come to Europe or America.
and we can actually, the thing
Do the
is
same.
the value. That's where the values come.
100%. It
We have
always
not
goes back to
valued.
that.
We have not valued our dishes.
Exactly.
Imagine if we were to value our, I don't know,
Hard body,
Hard body,
masonja, all of
masonja.
them. Makila, malana, all of those things.
you understand all those
Yes.
stuff, right? And the way we prepare them.
Yes.
Because remember, some of these things, when they push them, they say that it's how it was prepared, it's how it was groomed, it's how it was what.
Yes.
We can say that, okay, I'm gonna make a Mopani orchard,
Yes.
and we create our own rain. This Mopani, the soil, we
Yes.
fertilize it with the manure from whatever.
Yes.
We make it sound so special. And we create, in the same orchard, we create a restaurant, big restaurant. You come there, we dry them differently. This is dried with vinegar. This is dried with what. We create so much variety. When you come here, you're like, and everyone loves it.
Yes.
You understand? And not necessarily everyone, because not everyone will love it, but the way we push it.
Yes. The
It's
way
like-
you
it's
push
like-
it is.
It's like things like pasta and the Italians.
Yes.
They've pushed it.
That's the staple dish.
You understand what I mean?
It's the same as Mexicans with tortillas.
Tortillas,
wraps.
tacos.
It's the staples. It's the number one dishes that the world knows.
Yes.
But if you're saying in Africa, there's another thing that you should also take into note. It's not all doom and gloom. Like if I look at Nigeria, Nigeria, egusi,
jollof
rice.
Yeah.
They are becoming quite popular.
Yes. It's because they are very centered. Remember, Nigerians, there's a lot of white people there.
Yes. Nigeria, sorry, I know there are a lot of
Ghana,
yes.
Togo.
That dish, there's always a fight between Ghana and Nigeria.
Which one is
who has
the better
best,
one?
yeah.
That's what I mean. But at the end of the day, that's an export. You understand what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is, let's have things that we are proud of.
Yes.
Let's have things that we say that this is our stuff, and we I saw this other lady who was making mashonja snacks. He puts a peri peri chutney and all those stuff. And I don't know where she is now, but that's something that we shouldn't laugh at.
No, we shouldn't, and we should always try to try.
That's an export. Literally, if we really push it, it can be a very big export. And instead of us even to be eating all this lace, is it an American company or whatever? Because I think Penel was also saying that something like, instead of having to buy from McDonald's and all KFC, because it's not our stuff.
Yes.
Let's buy from, I don't know if Steers is from here. Steers. Let's buy from Steers. Let's buy from Nando's.
From here.
Chicken licken.
It's ours.
Spare, yes. I think Spare
is ours. Yeah. Nando's is ours.
Nando's is ours.
Nando's is 100%.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah. And no matter how expensive they are, Nando's, let's go buy from them.
No, but you know what? 100%, I hear you. But still, it's still not. It's not ours. It's not South African. It's like it's ribs, grilled bride.
It's not a problem.
It's not South African to a certain extent. But right now, you see, when I was at my girlfriend's place, I was buying pap. I was buying tripe. What do you call it? Pork trotters.
Sure.
Right? They were much more cheaper than the normal burger Steers. And at I think Ivory's Kitchen in I think Observatory.
Yeah.
The quality, even my girlfriend said that these taste very nice. This food is very nice. Right? The same type of ideas of what people are buying, we should be also buying in terms of going to a Steers, but instead of buying the burger of Steers, buy tripe, buy this.
Yes.
If we could be as proud as we are with those dishes, the same way we are proud of Steers and burgers, which one is more healthy? We'll also go back to that point.
I mean, like those stuff are very fatty, with tripe and all those stuff.
Yes, 100%.
It's very fatty, and I mean, either way, when it comes to health, it's another conversation. But what I'm trying to say is, if we were to still push, just being conscious, the one idea that I actually would love South Africa to get to is having our own cars.
Right?
Our own brand.
Of vehicles.
Because India has its own Mahindra. They're coming to Africa. We should have our own brand via cars. In movies, we always see our Via. Everywhere. Because remember, the Americans, when they do their cars, they always put Ford, they always put Chev. When you go to France, they put their Citroën and Peugeot. German is, you have Benz, you have all this BMW. So we need to get to a point where, and I remember I once watched a video with Vositemi Maguire talking about how it's a difficult market to enter and something like this. Like things like our black-owned banks, apparently it's so hard to create to start your own bank. You understand what I mean?
100%, yeah.
So at the end of the day, what we are trying to push is black-owned. Things must be black-owned, and let's support each other as black people. And I remember there was a video which Penel was doing. He started a bit emotional because when I told him about it, he was like, I never get emotional. Right? I was like, I just speak. So I was like, okay. But what he was saying, I think basically he was saying that he was saying the same conversation, And for me, the answer, I said, we don't have anything that we are proud of. Let's say that this is what we're proud of as Black South Africans.
Yeah, I could really, yeah, true.
Like, there's nothing that I can say that, okay, yeah, no, I mean, like, there's several people like that we have exported. Maybe we're proud of black coffee. We're proud of what. Mayonnaise that you're always buying in the groceries.
Yeah, but we do, like, you see, it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Like, now I'll give you one thing right now I'm very proud of. Amapiano.
Yes.
Amapiano is actually not becoming, it's worldwide.
Did you see how Nigerians are taking it? As
They
theirs?
might be attacking it, but the fact
No, not attacking it, but they're taking it as theirs.
Yes, it's fine. It is fine. I don't have an issue with it. The issue, like, let's think about it like this. Not even 2 years, I'm lying. 5 years ago. 5 years ago, America was the strongest output of music. 5 years, maybe let me say 10 years ago. My playlist would be mostly American music, right? They would output so much music, and then you would listen to, me and you were deep house listeners. We listen to deep house as well, right? But I have never heard a sound that came from South Africa that's blown up so
Even
much
the hip hop was not even
internationally.
ours, yeah.
That has it even overcaps hip hop. I don't listen to as much hip hop than I listen to a piano.
Yeah, I mean, we tried with both Gqom.
Yes.
Gqom as well was actually
yes,
pushing.
yes.
Webso Domo on the
Babes,
Wakanda and all those things. I mean, we made stride. And like you're saying, that it's not all doom and gloom, right? But we need to get to a point where we are proud of what we are doing in our own country. You understand what I mean?
100%.
Like what I was saying, let's just have something that we're proud of in our own country.
Yes. And we are producing it, and it's generating enough money for the
ourselves,
country.
yes. And then it makes it easier when we go to, when we export. It makes it easier when we get to a place. I don't know the Julius Malema, when he put it, it's like I'm not afraid of any white man, but sometimes I'll be in a room and there's only white people. It's like you just shake a little bit. You understand? Even though you're conscious that I'm not afraid of anyone,
Yes.
but there's just this thing where you just feel it that you feel it.
100%,
You understand what I mean?
yeah.
So we want to get to a point where when we get into a space, whether you're the only black guy or the only white guy, it must not. Yes, you can't really run away from
I think
that.
that shake will never go away until our brothers are in the same room as you.
No. So this is what I've noticed, right? I was going to buy something in the spa that's next to you there. So I realized that if you see people who like it was a day, like on payday, they sell ribs there, right? So I'm going to buy ribs. It was packed. So there's like a lot of white people, colored, and I think I was probably few blacks there. And when I got there, and I had already ordered, right? And the people who were actually serving there, a lot of them were colored ladies, and I think there was one black lady. And to be honest with you, I knew that it would be easier for me to speak to this black lady than to speak with the colored lady. Because with the black lady, I know I'm gonna switch to closer and say, "Hi, Bosisi, the order is Shanjan. How do I order?" Right? And then she can easily say, "Oh, I'm Tase." You understand? We break that barrier. But for me to try to speak to another colored lady, and the way that I saw it, and it was proven, and I was like, it's not like there's no agenda. Like, this is just a free space, but the lines have already been drawn, right? And there was no incident of racism, but just because there were more people who are like this and like this, it made it easy for them to help each other. It's like with you, if you're in a certain place and then someone comes and speaks to you in your own language, you find it easy to help them because of
Let me ask
And it's not even racism.
based on what you're saying, does it matter if someone helps you? Let me say, if a white person comes to you and helps you in vendor, how would you feel? If the same colored person who you were
Trying to avoid.
Yeah. Helps you and say Booty and calls you.
Yeah.
How would you have responded? It would have
So
you
that
would have been okay.
it disarms you.
Yeah, this
It disarms
lady-
you.
Yeah, hey, wow, hey, this lady calls me in.
She's reaching out.
Yes,
Yes.
right, and it goes back to the value as South Africans. As much as we are so many cultures and so many, there needs to be a value of understanding each other.
True.
And there are some cultures and within us don't want to understand each other.
No. The thing is, what I've noticed with South Africans, when it comes to racism, if you want to call it racism, it's micro. It's not in your face type of thing. It's like a stereotype.
Yes,
You understand?
it's ignorance to a certain extent.
I saw a video from Devosi. So he's explaining a story of Samson. Samson, the man with strength. You know the Samson in the Bible, right? The strong
So
guy.
Samson is
Yeah. So he's explaining a story where there were Philistines coming to fight with him, right? And the guy is alone, and you see like 1,000 men. So as he's standing, he's seeing them coming. Because remember, Samson was the maverick of his time,
Yes.
right? And as he's seeing them coming, because he says that hey, it's going down.
it's gonna
So he sees a decayed donkey, right? And all he sees that he can use is a jawbone of a donkey, like just a jaw. So he picks it up. He takes out the what do you call this? The dust, right? And the guy is ready to fight, right? 1,000 men with swords or I don't know, whatever
With a bow.
weapons. So he's fighting. Whether it's fictional or not, it's your story to worry about, right? The guy fights. I'm sure it was a long fight, right? Because he has to fight 1,000 people.
1,000 men, yes.
And he comes out alive, right? And guess what Samson does? He throws the jawbone away.
No way.
So when he throws it away, and Miles Monroe now says that that's where the revelation was. Because you would think that now that he actually fought with the jawbone and he won against 1,000 men,
You would
what would you do?
keep the jawbone
You keep the jawbone.
because that jawbone.
You frame it.
Yes.
Like,
Like
no.
hey,
It works.
I'm a killer with
Yeah.
jawbone.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Even names like when we used to watch Bleach, you name your sword. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So what he was saying said that I like what Samson did. He threw it away. Why? Because when you do something and you trade, it's like when you do something that works, you start trading. You start trading it. You start putting you start selling jawbones. If you want to fight, this jawbone works. And you start selling it. You start trading it. And what he was moving from there, he was moving it from, it's not just trade, but it moves to tradition. Right? So he's talking about every time you find something that works, people will always do what? Try to trade it, which is tradition. So that's the thing of saying that peer pressure, tradition is a peer pressure from the dead or from the old people, right? I'm trying to remember where we were coming with this conversation.
We were before the conversation.
We're talking about spa and yeah, but I think probably the point of this was to say that if there's something that works, right, within, I think you asked me a question on, what's this now? About if it works.
Oh, if a system works, what was I asking? I forgot now.
Yeah, it's fine. But I think basically what I was saying with that is what makes us fall into bondage with something is because we find something that works and we always want to use it again. But I just don't remember where the conversation was going. But I think we'll remember it.
Okay.
We'll remember it. But that story, it was just an interesting story that people will like treasuring things which we like, and that makes us want to fall into tradition and doesn't allow us to grow as a people. You understand what I mean? So I think maybe since we're forgetting where
Yeah, I'm forgetting now. But then, like, it's, even if you come back to, so what are you saying about tradition, Mus?
No, I mean tradition is some of the things that we are doing now. It doesn't necessarily mean that we should keep on doing them. I remember I had a podcast with Sibo, this is a guy that I know, talking about remember there was a time where African spirituality was actually rife. It was said that, hey, let's do African spirituality. And you see, we actually realize that African spirituality is actually hectic, it's deep, and in a sense, that's us trying to find our way back to our roots, right? And you realize that we have changed. We have changed the way that we've done things. And things like Lobola, apparently there was the Afrikaner man who introduced Lobola, the pricing of cows. We never used to do that, but there was an Afrikaner man who came and said that, I don't know if it's a German man actually. We came and introduced the pricing of that cows. Okay, if this is how much a daughter should. But we never said that we need how many cows. But the guy just told us that.
But there were gifts exchange.
But we were doing gifts exchange. But the amount was not probably
in terms of cows.
Yes.
But okay, that does not matter though.
It didn't matter. But now, remember the way that we're doing Lobola now. So when you get married, what they will say that is, our daughter is a what, is a what. And they say that, okay, we're going to charge you 100,000. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
And it was not like that. Before, it was, like, for example, we see what we're talking about, staple food.
Yes.
Pap.
Yes.
Apparently, maize meal was introduced to Africa. It was not what we were eating all the time. So what are we eating? What were we eating before?
Then I have the question, what were we eating then?
Yes. So there's stuff that we were eating. So when you say that we're going...
maize meal, we've always been growing.
No, apparently, you'll be shocked. Because the more you do research, you actually realize that, hey, well, what were we doing really as Africans? Because apparently maize is coming from the Southern America. It was brought by a ship.
No, so wait. Then let me ask you this question: did we not have maize?
No, we didn't have maize.
So when we took a stone, put maize, we dried up maize, corn from the field. Yeah. Are you saying that corn never
process? We never had it here. In Africa? Yes.
So you're saying when the Europeans came, they came with that?
Yes. But it was not coming from Europe. It was coming from South America.
It was coming from South America.
Yes, that's why Nigerians, they don't have pap. They eat that fufu. Yes, it's the root. Yes, you understand what I mean?
Fufu is like plantain,
something like that. Yeah, it's like a root of some sort. Yeah, which they just boil and then it ends up looking like pap. Yes, you understand what I mean? So the maize, it was not what we were eating. You understand what I mean?
I have learned something now.
You understand what I mean? So we always want to go back to our tradition. So like, let's go back. Someone will start saying that this is not how we talk to God. Yes. Trying to push sangomas and everything. But you ask yourself, where is this coming from? You understand what I mean? Because yes, probably people were worshiping God, but was sangomas, because remember the way that even the sangoma thing is actually applied. Some of them, they said we should worship our ancestors, right? And the worship of ancestors is not correct. You understand what I mean? Yeah. There's bringing in the idea of Christianity. the way Christianity has presented itself with how we relate with God is a more answerable for me channel. Because if this person is Jesus Christ, he's saying that I have left the throne, right? To come and be with you guys and understand the fallen state that you are in.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? Because the fallen state comes with sin, right?
Yes.
When Adam and Eve disobeyed God,
Yes,
right? Due to the temptation of the devil, right? So the prophecy was made that God is going to bring his son, who's going to bruise the devil, and when he bruises the devil, and he brings back the new Adam,
Yeah.
which is Jesus Christ. It's like the Adam 2.0,
Yes.
who is way better than the first version.
Yes.
And that's where the good news comes in. When they say the gospel
Yes.
basically means good news, right? The good news is the authority that, because remember Adam, in a sense, you would say that he had superpowers.
Yes.
The ability to tell this is a tree, this is a what, because that's what he was. That was his work.
Exactly.
He was busy naming
Yes,
animals.
naming things, yes.
Like, you look like a lion. Now you're a lion. It's like every time, it's like even when you think of vowels or alphabets, boo. You just see a B, J.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
100%.
A lion. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
All those stuff. It was the work of Adam, right? And he had supernatural power of some sort in his state,
Yes.
before he was fallen, right? And God, even though he had power, God still allowed him. God still allowed process, because if you look at how the world is made in a processive way.
Yes.
That's why they say that you don't jump up to grow up. You have to grow up to remain up. So if you jump, you're gonna come down.
Come down, correct.
So God has always respected processes. That's why we have photosynthesis. That's why we have seasons. That's why we have everything there. Has always been there. So even Adam, even though he was in a state of knowledge or knowing, right? He had to still speak to God daily. Still have to learn. That's why the idea of why would the idea of knowing what God knows be enticing to him? That means he was still learning. He still saw that, as much as I am this, I have so much authority, there was still room for growth.
Correct.
You understand what I mean? And that's why they get tempted. When they get tempted, they fall into sin. And there's a book that I listened to. It's talking about 2088, John Lennox. It talks about AI and the fall of man. One of the quotes that he said that ever since the fall of man, men have always moved away from God. They've been tried. They're not going closer to God. We are moving further and further and further and further and further and further away. Yes. That's why we even have AI now. So it's not becoming better.
It's becoming worse.
It's just gonna become worse. We're not moving closer.
Okay, going back to what you said about tradition. So you're saying some of the things we're doing traditionally we're not supposed to be doing because they were for that point in time.
Yes.
And for us to go through that point in time. So my question to you, I have actually two questions, but the first question is that if you're saying some of the things we're not supposed to be doing right now, right? So some of the ceremonies, some of the rituals were not for the time that we're in, but were for the past. So are we not supposed to acknowledge those things or say that we come from there, that's what we used to do, that's how it used to solve some of the problems that we have, that's how what we used to do can still help people from today?
It's going back to the story that I made of the framing.
Okay.
You see,
yes.
We have framed all those traditions. We have framed how Lobola was done. We have framed how we were talking to God, right? Whether you were talking to actual God by doing those ceremonies, let's give them benefit of a doubt.
Yes.
Oh, maybe it works. Maybe it was actually working.
Yes.
Right? But there was a dispensation of the Son of God, like I was saying. Jesus Christ came, right? And he has given us what? Freedom. He says that, guys, the way they put it, they say in Christian, what's the word? Jargon. They say there's no more law.
Yes.
It's now about relationship.
Okay, I understand.
The Israelites as well, they were having a tough time living the law of Moses. That this is what we used to do. This is what we used to do. This is what we do. Jesus Christ is like, hey guys, chill. I don't want you guys to keep on doing, because the law, if you don't do a ceremony, how are you gonna feel? How are you gonna feel? You're always gonna feel bad. And the way that we evangelists preach it, they say that no matter how good you are, no matter how philanthropic or whatever you are, there's that guilt that's always there.
Yes.
You always feel the gift that, no man, you're not good enough. And the solution to that feeling is when Jesus Christ died on the cross.
Okay.
When Jesus Christ died on the cross, he's fixing all those stuff.
100%.
He's fixing the traditions. And that's why usually you hear people that it's about the relationship. Are you able to not have to go to, you see how the Israelites used to do it? They used to go to a temple and God would be in the Holy of Holies.
So now my question is that, okay, let me, before I ask the question, how I was explained in terms of tradition and what we're doing, that back in the day, we did not know a Jesus or a God, right? Oh, we did know that there's a God. We did not know about Jesus, right?
Back in the day.
Yes, back in the day. We, how I was explained to
Okay, okay.
My grandmother explained it to me.
Okay.
In our culture, there's always been a method of respect in our cultures.
Sure.
Right? The young speaks a certain way to the old. And only if you're the last born, you always speak to your big brother in a certain way. You always speak to your uncle in a certain way. You always speak to your uncle, grandmother in a certain way. So think of the same concept, but think of it as you are the young one who are still on earth, right? Those who have passed on are your uncle, your whoever who has been in your line of family. When you speak to them, they ask permission to what's up higher than them.
Yeah, sure.
And that would be God. So when you ask them for permission for 1, 2, 3, right? Or you want to do 1, 2, 3, or you ask them for forgiveness for 1, 2, 3, they would go up with respect to ask God. Right? Jesus comes in, Jesus says, well, I'm cutting
the
this
only
route.
way to the Father is through me. Yes.
I'm cutting this route that you used to do.
Yes.
And you speak directly to me. Right? So now there's a conflict now between culture and your faith. Are we not supposed to follow how we used to do things and look at only our religion?
Yeah, I think the idea of religion is it's a very hard thing, because the way they describe religion goes back to tradition. Do you understand? Religion will always go back to tradition. That's why the biggest idea is Jesus Christ said something like, if you love me, you will do my commandments.
Yes.
And in the book of Romans, chapter 1, there you see that God has written his commandments in our hearts. That's why no matter how good you are, like I said earlier on, no matter how, the people who are just naturally good people, and no matter what, they're just good people, those people, they always feel like something is missing, because that's the nature of sin. Going back to the story of Adam, right? The state of being, of where we are.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? And the concept of Jesus Christ coming, dying for us, right? Being God, dying for us and giving us the righteousness of God. his righteousness,
Yes.
right? It's actually a status that I actually put on my Facebook today.
Yeah.
That aren't we all his children living by his righteousness? Because at the end of the day, as much as we think that we can actually grow, as much as we think that we can actually do so many things, it's all about the relationship.
Yes.
Are you able to connect with God without having to go through tradition? Because tradition, even though like we don't, it's not like it doesn't work. The chances are it works, and maybe God respects it. But is that the best way of getting to the Father?
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
But God is saying that, guys, I have given you a hack. I've given you a way to speak to me.
See, directly.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
I'm like, when you speak to God and he answers, and like that's also another conversation. How does God speak to people?
Yes.
You understand? And the good thing about the power of God, people can call it the universe, is that the moment you speak to him, remember process? He always allows the process
to follow. Yes.
God does not want to work on the miracle frequency. He wants you to live his life. Because a miracle, that means something out of the, like something spectacular has happened. Miracle is me just picking up a 1 million bag. That's a miracle. But he wants us to live the life of him, having a relationship with him, to a point where you have so much fellowship with God that his thoughts, because remember, God has not been stingy with his what? Divinity.
Yes.
The one God who has not given up on his divinity. He's saying that, guys, I have died for you guys so that you can do the same thing as I do. You get me? Yeah. So, yes, how we were doing things before, it was because we were trying to reach out to God. And God has given us this hack, which is Jesus Christ. By just believing in him, that means now what you have done, what has happened is you can now access God. And there's a way that you experience his love when you have encountered God. And that love, you can't find it anywhere. The same feeling, you can't find it anywhere.
I have another question.
Yeah.
You're speaking about the process.
The process, yes.
Muslims. Right?
Okay.
The Muslim culture or Muslim religion is very similar to the Christian.
Sure.
Christian
It's
culture.
they call it the Abrahamic faith.
Yes.
In a
So
sense,
now, should not the normal Christian also understand the Muslim culture? Or the Muslim Quran? Or read the Muslim Quran?
I guess we are like I said, like it's the Abrahamic faith, right? And there are principles, like I was saying, that maybe you doing traditional stuff works, does not necessarily mean that that's the best way to what? To get to God.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that that's the best way to access God.
Yes.
Right? And
another thing, why I'm asking you this is because it's the same concept of what you're saying might also fall onto Christianity. Christianity might not be the best way to actually get to God.
okay.
Maybe being a Muslim might be.
No, it cannot be. The way I remember when I was having a conversation with Master Mazanga, we were talking about the context of truth.
Yes.
That truth has context.
Yes.
Wherever you go. Because I can say that there's only one God.
Which the same thing
And
as Muslims are saying.
Hindus can say the same thing.
Yeah? Hindus have multiple gods.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, no, it can't be. So even though I that's truth to me, there's context. You understand?
Yes.
So
I understand what you're saying.
yes. So I was asking him, because I like challenging Mr. Mays with these interesting ideas. He says, no, but remember there's context in everything, right? And which is why coming back to Christianity, right? To say that maybe Christianity is not the only way.
Yes.
Right? And like I was saying that to get to God, chances are it might be not the only way, but the authorized way. Right?
Yes.
Because if you have to follow the story, right? The way God has the story from the beginning, when God created man, let them have dominion, right? And you follow the whole story of how everyone is just trying to get to God.
I'm not against Christianity. I am
Yes.
a Christian.
Sure.
But what I'm asking you is, the story might not be as perfect as it is written,
It actually is.
right? Because the story was put together by us.
Sure.
I'm 100% right. You are right. It was written by the followers of God, 100%.
Sure.
But when it was put together and binded, it was not binded in totality and given to us.
Yes. True.
Are we agreeing on that?
That's correct. Yeah.
Right? So now, with me saying that, right, I'm saying that yes, everybody has their own paths that they want to, because God has blessed us with this beautiful concept of a choice to choose your own road.
A free will. Yeah.
Where you want to go to, and do not judge how others or how the other people are taking their own roads. So, if another person purely believes that being a Muslim is another route to get to God,
Allah. Yes.
I allow that, and I have no judgment in there, because Allah is the same thing as God.
That's God. Yeah.
Right? It's derived the same thing as much as God. A Christian says God, and a Muslim says Allah is the one and the same thing. We do not need to separate it, but people do separate it.
You see, going back to the conversation that I had with John, right? We're talking about the context of truth, right? You realize that at the end of the day, we have different truths, and there's only one truth that's going to prevail at the end of the day. And I've been saying the same thing that you're saying, just that I'm not denying the results that other religions have.
Yes.
I'm not denying the results at all. What I'm trying to say is the way that it's been done, it does not give the liberty that comes with Christianity. Like I said, so some of the religions, they don't give you liberty in terms of the actions.
100%.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
And if we're to go into the character of who God is, right? God is righteous, God is spirit, God, and in a sense, let's say perfect, right?
Yes.
And for you to please a God who is perfect with your with all your flaws, imperfections, right?
Yes.
It's going to be impossible.
Yes, 100%.
This is why I'm saying that the idea of bringing a Jesus in between, and he dies because the Bible says that he knew no sin, right? And he gives us the victory over the feeling of guilt.
Yes.
You'll be shocked. Someone once said, God loves your girlfriend, my spouse, more than I love them.
Yes.
And it's hard to accept it. It's hard to accept that God loves your parents more than you think you love them.
Yes.
God loves someone who's doing witchcraft now as I speak.
No, I can.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
What
I understand.
what I'm trying to bring to the story of Jesus Christ is and us and how we relate to him is the solutions or the ways to go to God can be so many, but Jesus Christ put it out there. He said that I am the way, the truth. No one gets to the Father except through me.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
And the principles that makes this world run have not stopped.
Yes.
No matter how, if you're a atheist or whatever, the sun will always come out.
Yes.
The rain, when it falls on everyone. You see how sovereign God is. You understand what I mean? And like you said, he gave us the free will. I was listening to a sermon today talking about control, right? Self-control. He said that the more you control someone, the more you're not in control.
100%.
To show that you're in control is when you give people what? Full power.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? So which means God, no matter how he has his own ideas of how the world should run, no matter, even if he has made the Bible the most influential book in the world, for some reason, one of the most influential religion, quote unquote, people know that there's Christianity.
Yes.
But he is not forcing that idea to anyone.
No.
Because he wants you to actually come. You see, like me, as I'm saying now, I'm just saying the same thing that, hey guys, God loves you, or God wants you to actually worship him.
Yes.
The way that he wants you to worship you, which is through Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Because there's no reason for you to say that you're not going to listen to God whilst he has given you a cheat code. It's like some form of a cheat code.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'm saying is, people choose the cheat code.
Yes, sure.
And those who don't choose the cheat code might not necessarily be wrong to them. Because it's their
To them,
choice.
yes. To them, yes.
To you, because we are Christians,
Sure.
you instinctively think they are wrong, which is incorrect. It's a judgment.
I wouldn't say that I'm judging. I'm just putting it out there.
Hey,
I'm not judging. Look, like to be honest with you, né? It's my responsibility as a child of God,
yes,
to have experienced this truth, and I've not explored in terms of practice other religions,
yes,
but I've at least learned about them.
yes.
Right?
That's my point of saying.
Yes. So where I'm coming from is, even though you are saying that you are 1, 2, 3, I'm not saying that it doesn't give you results. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that maybe if he is God, he does not answer. Because remember, like I was saying, when the sun shines, it doesn't choose that it comes into Christian only. You understand what I mean? So which means God, like, he's in control. And he has put it out there that, okay, guys, I'm going to give you an option. That, okay, you guys just have to choose. I have brought my son here.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Right? And the way you see how Jesus Christ was moving, he always said, I am about my Father's business.
Yes.
I and the Father are one. And I'll read another scripture now after this. I and the Father are one. And you can see that he has always been pushing the matter of what? Him and one with the Father. Yes, right?
Yes, 100%.
And then even when he dies, he says, I'll give you the Holy Spirit. I'll not leave you alone. And he will come into you. And, he gives all these benefits that comes.
100%.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yes.
Right? So, what I'm saying is, all these other avenues that you're trying to get hold of God, they may not be things which you're saying that they don't work, but even though they work, but the way that Jesus Christ, what the Muslim world called a prophet, not necessarily the Son of God, that guy, he's the one who said that I've done for you guys. And the way to get to talk to this universe, you see the other people, they call it the universe, right?
Yes.
That universe that you said you want to be, the secret and everything, the best way to get to that universe is through Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And he said it when he was praying, that when you pray to what? You want to call it the universe, right? But you pray in my what? In my name. Yes. Because all that work of dying on the cross and actually being resurrected is the work of the Son of God. And you saying that, and remember, there's still that thing of saying that they know that even though we've done this project, even though you're trying to do all this other stuff, because some of these traditions, they push fear. Because if you don't pass, if you don't do this, bad things start happening. You understand what I mean?
Yes, yes.
And Jesus Christ said that I will still allow you to go through the process, right? And allow you to grow with me. It does not mean that bad things won't happen. He will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. You understand what I mean? So I think we're saying the same thing in a sense.
You are saying the same thing.
But what I'm trying to say, Mina, is the moment you start rejecting the person who was sent to to access God, you're missing it. You're missing the. Can I put it the legit way?
No, you see, me and you, we are disconnecting right what
Right
you're
there.
saying.
Yes.
Right what you're saying.
Sure.
Because I'm a Christian. I read the Bible.
Sure.
But with my time being on earth, I've realized people do things according to how they are, like where they come from, how they grew up, and I've realized that Christianity was my choice.
Yes. Sure.
Well, this is Christianity was my choice. I chose to be a Christian. All right? I've chilled with my brother. My brother chose to be a Muslim. He sat down with me and told me that it doesn't necessarily mean that being a Christian is wrong.
Sure.
It doesn't necessarily mean being a Muslim is wrong. We both believe in the same thing. All right? Because it is not our place to judge who is wrong or right, correct?
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm telling my brother that I speak to God directly because of Jesus Christ, and my brother says that Jesus is a prophet on my side of the spectrum, right? But we speak to the same God, then it satisfies me. I have no point to add to say that the route that you are going about it might not be reaching God, or might not be reaching God directly.
And you see,
Because to a certain extent, the point of what he is mentioning, especially when it comes to being a Muslim and a Christian, they are so similar, the path routes. It's just that one has an additional prophet that is more idolized than Jesus, Muhammad.
okay.
Right? Yes. There is the big difference between the two religions. But both of them speak about the same Allah. So I've realized that actually I used to think that these other religions or culture, how they go about it, you know what, I've really learned that it is not my point to say. I chose this religion that I'm in. I can only share what I can share with my brother based on my religion, my culture, my religion, and tell him how things operate in this religion and how the good and the bad and everything that is nice in my religion, and he shares what is going on in his religion.
Sure.
Not putting the two against each other.
Yeah. Like I was saying, I'm not putting anything against anyone. I'm just saying that if you want to actually practice this thing of saying that you want to believe in a God, the creator of this universe,
Yes.
the best way to do it is to follow what this creator has given to you. For me, it's the story. It's the story of how it's everything plays out.
Yes.
For me, it's that story.
Yes.
That story of the Messiah having to come and solve this sin problem.
Yes.
Right? The fallen world, state that we are in.
Yes.
When we disobeyed God, and that story, us moving from there to him dying, and him telling us, because remember, God says that I'm making you in my own image, right?
100%, yes.
And Jesus Christ was the perfect example of how we should be living here on earth, right? It doesn't mean that he didn't have challenges. He had challenges.
Yes.
People were calling, the Pharisees were calling him left and right and center.
100%.
You understand that?
Yes.
They were challenging him, right? You would call it that a challenge, right? But what's happening there is Jesus Christ comes here and he experiences how it is to be a human being, right? And he conquers temptation because he says, the Bible says that he knew no sin, right?
Yes.
And when he gets there, he is doing all this so that we get what? We can do the same thing that he does.
Yes.
The Bible says that the same power that raised Jesus Christ from the dead is the same power that we have. Right?
Yes.
So what is that doing? what that is doing is telling us that, guys, God is not stingy with who He is. From the beginning, God has always said that I want to make man in my own image, so that they can just showcase how we are, the spirit of creativity, the ability to create systems. No matter how we call ourselves fallen, right? I always say it when I'm in the flight. Every time I go in a flight, I always have a revelation of how big God is. You see the order of how human beings are. You see cars moving in the right lane. You see how and that order, you see it with how animals is, like the chain, the pyramid, something, where food chain, stuff like that. There's grass, there's insects, there's animals, like the predators. They keep on going, and you actually see how the order that is in life is the same order that we also have as human beings. And literally, every time when I'm just in a plane, I just see it so much order. I was like, wow, we are actually manifesting what God has done. To say that let's make what? Let's make man in our own image. And we will start to be creative. From there onwards, whether we started as chimpanzees, those are crazy people. But if they want to believe that, it's fine. Evolution, it's up to them, right? But you see that so much order. We start seeing trees. Trees become chairs. Chairs become wood. Become so many things. The invention of a tire or fire. We keep on wheel. And I mean, right now we're in that's why I was saying that I'm so fascinated about the idea of God coming in the age where we're saying that we have created another super being. Because we are at a point where we say that, hi guys, we're creating AI now. Right? And AI is a scary thought for some. For others, it's an exciting possibilities because of the things that we can do. And you can see that the creative thing, because God created us.
To create this.
So much order. There's order. Like literally, if you want to see order, the thing is, someone says that there's no God. I find it. Let me insult them. I find it stupid. You can't say that there's no God.
It's impossible.
The way that we are, there's just so many things that
come on.
You can't say that there's no architect. You understand what I mean? So finding ourselves moving from where we were to where we are now, where we are creating an artificial intelligence which has the ability to have its own conscious. Imagine if we really now we created an artificial intelligence which has its own conscious, which has quote unquote feelings about stuff. You understand what I mean?
That is the space where we should be going.
Yes, you understand what I mean? When we get to that point, I remember there was earlier on when I was still talking to Mr. Mays, when we were just dissecting this idea of AI, and we realized that we are asking ourselves one question: what is our purpose here on earth?
As humanity.
As humans, yeah. What is our purpose?
I don't know, to live, to enjoy, to be sad.
To experience life, in a sense.
Yeah, to a sense, yes, and die.
And
pass on to whoever you've seeded.
Yeah, and you see, that's our motivation, in a sense.
Yes.
When we feel like we're about to die, we want to spread. That's why the animals, they are said to the only ones who are doing the will of God, which is to multiply and replenish the earth, right? Because with them, they just make children and die and go on.
Continues.
And then we are doing that, but the thing is, we have, I guess, a better intelligence. And now we're creating this AI. It will be asking itself the same question: what is my purpose? Because we are asking God, what is our purpose here on earth? And then it will be here. And let's say, yes, it does interplanetary traveling.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm thinking. What if AI is there to continue our course in reproduction, in
Yes,
moving to other different worlds.
But if it is a conscious, or if it develops conscious, it will be asking yourself the same question.
Yeah, 100%.
Why did these guys make me?
Okay. I don't know.
You understand what I mean? So
It
that
goes
is
back to, a movie called Prometheus.
no. I'll check it out.
Yeah, there's a movie called Prometheus.
Yeah.
A same scenario of what you're talking about.
Sure.
An AI was created. The creator was getting old and is almost due to dying. And the AI assists his creator to go to a certain planet that might have a cure for the person who has created that AI. And the
Like
AI
a
starts
long
question-
life.
Yes, that starts questioning itself of why did the master dies eventually, and AI starts questioning why did this guy create me?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
So what you're saying, it has a similar, but it's a quite a bit of a horror movie, but it's very nice. It's very, very nice.
Sure.
Because it also asks the question, what if humanity, what if someone came along and seeded humanity? What if the Egyptian pyramids that are there we were helped and they were put there for a specific reason? Because even now science cannot understand how.
Yeah, I mean we've not done, like, we've not uncovered so many things, but we still want to go to Mars. You understand? I think maybe we need to close the podcast, because I know our podcast is the worst. I won't close it here, but I'll just allow us to maybe have final thoughts, right?
Yes.
This is one of the verses that I've just discovered lately.
Yes.
Amazing
You said
verse.
you're gonna mention that.
Yes, that's in James chapter 1, verses 12. So it says that God blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptation. Afterwards, they will receive a crown of life that God has promised to those who love Him. Right? So this is just talking about the testing and temptation.
Yes.
So it continues now and says that. And remember, when you are being tempted, do not say that God is tempting me. God never tempts you to do wrong. And He never tempts anyone else. Right? It continues. Temptation comes from our own desires. You see? Which entice us and drag us away. These desires give birth to sinful actions. And when sin is allowed to grow, it gives birth to death. Right? So I loved this scripture so much, and when I discovered it, I was like, wow.
It's very profound.
Going back to the traditions and the reason why Jesus Christ came. Jesus Christ came to deal with the sin problem, right?
Yes.
And most of the time, we'll always say that God is tempting us. And God here is saying that, don't say that I'm tempting you. Whatever that you say you like, you can't be tempted of liking tacos if you don't stay in Mexico. You understand what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Only someone who stays in Mexico. I mean, of course, if there's a taco shop in South Africa, you can get it. But let's say maybe it's not there. You can't say I'm tempted to make a taco because you don't even know what is a taco at first place.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? So which means you loving to eat too much, you loving to whether cheat or whatever, is just your own desires.
Yes, it's what you come from.
And God is saying that I'm not the one who's responsible for that. When it continues, maybe when
It's
let
your
me just
choice.
let me just finish it here.
Yeah.
So don't be misled, dear brothers and sisters. Whatever is good and perfect is a gift coming down from God, our Father, who created the light in the heaven. He never changes or cuts a shifting shadow, right? He chooses to give birth to us by giving us His true word. And we are all, and out of, let me just read again. And He chose to give birth to us by giving us His true word. And we, out of all creation, became His prized possession. You see? So, this is why I was saying that I don't think other people cannot have results the way that God has set it up for all of us.
Wait, what are you saying, Musa?
No.
Say what you're saying against.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, is God, as much as other people are trying other religions and other stuff, right?
100%.
God has not prohibited them to practice evil or whatever.
Yes.
Right? But He has given us a way to interact with Him, which is this one, through His Son, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Dealing with the idea of sin,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And now is coming back to our desires, right? God is the Holy Spirit is the one who regulates our desires,
Yes.
right? If you allow me, there's two scriptures that I love so much.
Yeah.
Remember at the beginning it says that those who endure,
Yeah,
right?
in the beginning.
In the beginning it says those who endure, right? He said that blessed are those who patiently endure testing. Testing is from God. Tempting is not.
Yes.
You can be tested
Yeah.
to see, okay, are you worthy? That's where the process
Yes,
comes in.
I understand this. And then
But the tempting, don't
temptation
never
is-
say that.
No.
Because temptation, you're the one from your fallen nature, right? You give in
To that.
to that fallen nature. See, your fallen nature, just me being in this earthly body.
To do
I can just
as if
like-
to do something bad.
Yeah, I can just
The
like.
choice is yours.
Yes. But He's saying that He has given us what? The choice
Yes.
to say that blessed are those who endure, who patiently endure the testing, number one, and the tempting.
Yes.
But the tempting is not from God, because that's what He's saying.
Yes. 100%.
Temptation is not from God,
Yeah.
right? And I like these two things because it highlights the two things of it's not necessarily self-righteousness, but when you endure and when you fight to try to emulate the principles of God, which you get through the relationship you have with Him, whether through personal prayer,
Yeah.
or maybe when you go to a church or whatever they teach you. You understand what I mean? So God respects that. That, oh, hey, this guy, he has an opportunity to actually go and do 1, 2, 3, but he is fighting with himself.
Yes.
To do what? To do what is right.
Right. Yeah. To go.
And the Bible says that there is a crown for those who do what? Because you can't do that. You can't do that if you don't love God.
100%.
If you don't, that's why the Bible says that the beginning of wisdom, the fear of God is the beginning of what? Of wisdom. And these are the two scriptures. There was one scripture which I was actually, when I guess they talk about revelation, the Christian cycle. This is the second revelation which cements the first revelation that I had. This is like a fresh thing that it just excites me, right?
Yeah.
And let me read you the first one. And the reason why I'm saying this is the second one is the reason why I like this one is because there is actually a promise.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the promise is like, if I fight
If I fight
to try as by all means to be a child of God, that way God rewards me for trying.
for trying.
Not that he,
Not that you are
whether
successful.
you do it or not,
Yes.
whether you do it or not,
Okay.
he's just telling you that if you keep on doing that, the consequences is death.
Yes.
Because he tells you that you are enticed by your own desire. It gives birth to sin. Sin grows, and when it grows, it gives birth to death.
Yes.
Right? That's just the process. You can die and still go. You're a believer and still go to heaven, and chances are you won't even get those crown.
100%.
You understand what I mean? That's the promise. Let me read you this one. This is the first one. I love this one, and I still love it. And I love that these two things. This is now in Second Peter, chapter 3 rather, chapter 1, verses 3. Let me read it again. It's quite a long one, but I won't explain this one. But I think when I'm reading it, you'll understand.
Go ahead.
By His divine power,
Yeah.
God has given us everything we need to live a godly life.
Yes.
You see, it's like linking already, right? We have received all this by coming to know Him, whether it be born again. In this case, it's being born again. The ones who has called us to Himself by His marvelous glory and excellence, right? Verses 4. And because of his glory and excellence, he has given us great and precious promises. That's where the promise come in, right? These are the promises that enable us to share his divine nature.
Okay.
Right? It allows us to share his divine nature
Yes.
and escape from the world's corruption caused by human desires. You see, human desire is coming back. So this I highlighted in red now. So I start explaining what the stuff that you need to do now. So I said, that's verses 5. In view of all this, make every effort to respond to God's promises. Supplement your faith,
Yes.
which is believing in God.
Yes.
Supplement your faith with generous provision of moral excellence. Believing in God, believing in Jesus Christ gets you to heaven. But supplement it by what?
Yeah, your faith.
By moral excellence. Just be a decent human being.
Exactly.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Knowledge with self-control. No, wait, I'm skipping.
You skipped there?
Right? So it says self-control. And with moral excellence, with knowledge. So which means you have to know, read books, right? And with knowledge, self-control. It's going back to the same one, the first one. The ability to patiently endure, right? And with self-control, patience, endurance.
Yeah.
You see, it's coming back. And with patient endurance, with godliness. And with godliness, brotherly affection. It's like being, brothers, they love each other more than women. So they just, I'll get in trouble. So he says brotherly affection, right? And with brotherly affection, love for everyone.
Yes, 100%.
Right? And so it moves on. So this is another part where I just highlighted in green. The more you grow like this, the more productive and useful you become in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. So which means the more you grow in all those things that I've just mentioned now,
Yes.
the more you grow in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Right? But those who fail to develop in this way, it's not wrong. Right? This is what the Bible says. They are short-sighted and they are blind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Forgetting that they have been cleansed of their old sins. You see? So if you keep on doing all these things, the quote unquote wrong things,
Yes.
and not being kind to other people, brotherly love, and patience, self-control, if you don't do that, you become short-sighted.
Yes, 100%.
You become blind. You understand what I mean?
I understand.
And then, so this is the sweet part. Ne? So, dear brothers, work hard. You see that God blesses those who patiently wait.
Yeah,
Work hard that to prove that you really are among those who God has called and chosen. See the fight?
I see.
Let me look at the reward now. Do this and you will never fall away. Then God will give you a grand entrance. You see, now it's a different promise.
Yeah.
Then God will give you a grand entrance into the eternal kingdom of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So, as a Christian, that's why I was saying that, yes, there are many ways that God can talk to people,
Yes.
but the way to get to God is through Jesus Christ,
Yes.
right? And just getting to Jesus Christ is the one that actually gets you to have access to God.
Yes.
And by just believing only, you are in heaven,
Yeah.
right?
100%. Yes.
You are already in the door.
Yes.
But now, there are promises
Yeah.
which now, you can say that the behavior modification in a sense, but God doesn't depend on that.
You got the diploma,
Yes,
but now you have to get the BTEC.
yes.
Yes.
So God does not necessarily depend on you having to try to do those things. No.
It's not forced.
When you do those things, that's when you get a crown.
Yes.
On the first verse that I mentioned. When you do those things in the second verse now, then you get a grand entrance
Yes.
when you get to heaven. Because at the end of the day, God is, because all these things, if you look at the things that they said you must do, they all deal with people.
Yes. 100%.
If you're loving brotherly love, who benefits from brotherly love is another human being.
Yes.
Who benefits from godliness is another human being. In knowledge, another human being. So God is saying that when you do better and helping other human beings, there's a reward for that.
Okay, Moose, I think we are saying the same thing. Remember when I raised, I specifically chose
Islam
being
or Muslim.
Islam, yeah. Specifically because they might choose to they believe in God. They might have all the qualities of being a brotherly love. They might have all of those qualities.
Sure.
The only aspect might be different according to how they do things.
True.
Right? So they might be one step through the door, but the diploma they have does not give them the Pt.2. I don't know that if that is incorrect or right.
No,
but because I can't judge what they're doing, I can only say this is what I'm doing. This is the road I'm doing. And if we're treating each other right, and accordingly we do not hate each other, but only live with each other on this earth together to see where the road leads us until our death, until God, Jesus Christ himself, comes to earth. I have no place, but I cannot judge my brother, but live with him.
I understand where you're coming from, and I feel like probably this conversation will always have a but I understand you. What I'm saying is, as much as we are practicing things differently, or maybe these are sister or cousin religions, a religion that does not acknowledge Jesus Christ as the Son of God and the way to get to the Father is in a sense limiting themselves from experiencing the full package.
That's what I'm saying, Mus. We are saying the same thing.
Yes.
When me and you are saying the same thing, is that we, to our understanding and to our belief,
Sure,
we are saying this is our full package.
yeah,
And this is how we are telling them that, listen, receive this full check. They're saying that, the package that makes me happy
yeah,
is this package.
Sure.
And the package that I think that will lead me to the promised land is this specific package. And you're saying, no, but there's a shortcut. Come to the shortcut way. And now when you are forcing someone to drink the water, they don't want to drink the water.
you must not force the camel to drink water. Yeah, which is what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
Is I acknowledge what you're doing, but what I'm saying is the way is this way.
Yes.
And if you're doing your way, maybe it's giving you results, but I'm saying that this is the way that gets you through.
You know what prompted this for me to raise this thing? It's because I have a brother who's a Muslim.
Okay, sure.
And imagine me and you, we are brothers. We love each other.
Yeah.
We've known each other for years now. We've always been brothers. And I would become a Muslim. And now we're in opposite tables, believing of this same person, or
Same
idea,
God.
same concept, same God, same
Yeah.
Ulysses, but in different routes. Ulysses.
Sure.
We're both believing in the same person, universe, or whatever you may call God. We're both believing in that same,
Sure.
but in different routes of how we look at things and how we go about it.
Yeah, yeah,
So now, I don't want you to say, I like the fact that you've said that you're not pointing the finger and saying that when you're wrong. I like that, because most people and most Christians like doing that. Because I used to be that Christian that points the finger at the other person, saying that what you're believing in is wrong. But now it goes back to I'm breaking the own rules that I'm reading myself, that I'm not supposed to judge what they're for. I can only share the gospel.
You see, those people who read the Bible a lot, will say that, hey, tell him that you're supposed to judge. You see, the thing is, we are supposed to go and preach the word.
Yes.
To everyone.
Yes. 100%.
And tell them, hey guys, this is Jesus Christ who has died for you, and he has given you an opportunity to relate with this universe and to take it into a further relationship, which is a fatherly relationship. So he wants to be a father.
Yes.
He wants to take care of you.
100%.
That, you remember the process that we're talking about? He wants to go through the process with you. You're starting off your first job. You finding a nice girlfriend there. You deciding to marry them. You making children. He wants to be with you there. And if you want to participate in this capitalism country or whatever, he wants to be with you throughout all these things. And all he craving is a very bad word. All he craves for someone who will believe him at his word.
Yes.
When he says something, your ability to do it and see. I mean, like most people who have prayed, they have said that prayer works.
Yes.
And basically prayer is you speaking to God.
Yes, that's why you'll even find that most sangombas are praying as well. They add prayer into what they practice.
What they're practicing, yeah.
And then now you can't tell that person you are wrong when they are praying.
You understand what I mean? So there are principles. There are principles in each and every, I guess, quote unquote religion. And that's why I'm saying that there were ways that we were doing things. Yes. Right? Doesn't mean that they were. Remember, the Bible says that the law was there to amplify what? The sin. Yes. You understand? Yeah. And it doesn't mean that the law... Yes.
To show you that this is the sin.
It does not mean that the law was not working.
Yes. 100%.
The law worked.
Yeah.
And kicking out the law, someone said that, no, I prefer working in the law. Right? But it nullifies the work of Jesus Christ, which he has done in the cross. I feel like this thing, I'll actually post it on the Good Friday.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very good day.
It is very good.
Yeah, I think I'll just put it on the Good Friday.
It is very,
yeah. At least Good Friday is now on the Friday. Yeah, the next week Friday.
Plus I won't be here, I'll be going home.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll put it on the Good Friday. At least someone will just listen to this and then just send it. It's a Good Friday message. Good Friday special. But at the end of the day, is Jesus Christ has come and he's saying, guys, I know that you guys, this is what you were doing. You were doing all this other stuff. What I'm saying now is there's another way. There's a hack.
Yes.
If you use the shortcut, because when you use the shortcut, that way it pleases God.
I've given you all the tools
to
please me.
Yes. You understand what I mean? And you see, human beings, the Bible puts it in this way: the human heart is the most deceitful of all things. Yes. The human heart. Yeah. So that's why we're talking about desires. No matter how good you are, you know, even the most moral person will always say that, hey, but we're human. What they're trying to say is that, hey, I give in sometimes. You understand what I mean? And the giving in is quote unquote not a problem. It is a problem because the Bible says that it's a build up. It builds up to become sin and leads to death, right? It's not a problem in terms of you getting to heaven or you, because remember, sin leads to death, right? But you believing in God is what gets you to heaven. You just believing that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, right? That's where the magic is.
100%.
But the doing of this promises that we saw there, the enduring of the testing and the tempting, is what gives you crowns.
100%.
You understand what I mean? 100%. So at the end of the day, what Jesus Christ is saying that, guys, this is the opportunity that I've given you guys. Don't take away what? This opportunity that I've given you guys. Because what I've done here is an opportunity for you guys to have a hack. And there are levels also to it. When you're having a relationship with God, you start having spiritual encounters.
Yes, 100%.
People talk about angels. And you start seeing angels. You understand what I mean? God start trusting you with more information. You understand what I mean? And imagine if we're saying that there's an architect that made this world, you have a direct line to talking to your God, wherever you are.
Yes.
Because back then, you had to chisel people. Our paths.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
And we're not saying it's wrong.
We're not saying it's wrong.
We are not saying
we're not saying it's wrong. Yes. You have to do all those processes. But God is saying that, hey, man, you can be in the podcast like this.
Easily.
And you have a direct line talking to God.
Yes.
Say, give me wisdom. How am I going to share this on this podcast and all those stuff?
100%.
And that's the desire that he has. Like I said, craving is a wrong word, but the crave that God has is our ability to really believe him and actually say that whatever he says through the Holy Spirit, we say, okay, this is what he said you should do, and you do it.
100%.
Go do this, and you do this. But yeah, I guess
we talked. I never experienced this. I thought it's gonna be an hour.
No, but remember, you are still holding the longest podcast.
You serious?
Yeah, we had I think almost 4 hours.
At my place back then.
Yes, it's still the longest podcast we had, and you see this one is still the longest.
Who's your life?
I'm telling you, it's either you and John.
Yes.
And we always have to cut it off. Like, hey guys, I know. Let's close the curtains. Yours is the longest podcast I have had. And you see now it's doing the same thing as well.
Yeah,
Almost 3 hours.
Let's cut it off. But
yeah, guys, thanks everyone for everyone who's listening to this conversation.
It was really beautiful. Moose, I deliver your flowers. Continue what you're doing, my brother.
Sure.
You are changing things, and you might not be seeing it, or you are starting to see things, but I believe in you. Continue what you're doing. God is blessing you in many ways, and will continue to bless you. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yeah.
And hopefully we try to measure this. The next time I'm invited, we'll measure it accordingly.
No, we should allow the conversation, because this is how I even see how. Because if you check Joe Rogan's podcast, they're going over almost 2 hours, all of them.
Yes.
Getting to 3. Almost 2 hours
Going to 3. Yes.
Almost 2 hours. And you see, the thing is, people, when they get to the podcast, it sounds like an interview. This was a conversation. And some of the stuff that we said, we might get us in trouble.
Yeah.
But this is how normal human beings speak.
Yes.
They just shoot out. There's no fact checker.
No,
we just talk, and if you listen to this and you're like, oh yeah, we made a mistake there and there. That's how conversations go.
Yes.
You
and that's how ideas are shared. Like I told you earlier on, I didn't know that. I learned something new today.
Exactly.
And that's how we all want to listen to each other. We don't want it to sound like an interview, like you're drilling someone to get information out of them. You want them to enjoy the conversation both of them are having. Yeah, it's true.
So in that case, it makes it difficult to, if we were to talk about your work, probably the conversation would go similar as well. So, but unfortunately, because we don't click that much with other people, or maybe that's a skill that I need to develop to be able to get people to speak freely without having to worry about. Because what I've noticed is that even guests themselves, they censor themselves because they don't want to, because they are a brand in a sense. Because they still have to feed their families. So you can't say things which is too controversial. The next thing you're being cancelled, and then the next thing, this guy invited to his podcast, and he put me in a trap. So what make G was doing? What make G was gonna?
Who did you sleep with?
You lie. You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
so all those stuff is the style of podcasting. But fortunately or unfortunately, this is how this podcast works. But the ideal is to keep on having natural, generic conversation. And I think this is why I actually appreciate conversations with you, because at least that way we chop down ideas, and then we bounce off ideas, and you're like, oh yeah, and you're telling me that no man, but this is how these other people are believing. Why are we pointing fingers? That's what I mean. And that's how a conversation goes. A conversation won't always be believed see, me and you are friends, but it doesn't mean that we always agree on everything. Yes, what I mean. So yeah, let's just close it.
Yes. Hey, wait. Are you planning on getting a third seat?
I need to do it. Remember, we actually talked about it last time we had a meeting. I actually thought I need to have like a third one, so that at least I can just have a third guest.
Exactly.
And then we can just have a long conversation, which is bouncing ideas from three
Yeah,
people.
all three people.
Yeah. So it's something that I've always been open, and I've seen ways to do it. I just have to implement it, and then we can always have a third or fourth mic.
Because
ideas.
remember we spoke to the boys and they said they were very interesting.
Oh yes. Yeah,
that will be. We need to come as a group and sit down. We'll organize.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're still keen.
They're still keen.
Awesome.
We'll make sure that they come.
I think I like that. Stay tuned, guys, for those who are listening. There's exciting content coming up.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So I think we'll set it up, and then I think probably I'll do it now, 100%. So that we can just set it up probably for late April.
Yeah. It's not a problem.
Awesome. All right, guys. Have a good night. If you have got this far, the first one to send me a message, say, write Aquela 6-pack on Steke Podcast. If you got this far and you have listened to the whole podcast, write Aquele 6-pack, and then I'll give you Aquele 6-pack.
100%.
I hope you're in Cape Town. I don't have to say. But I would actually send it to you.
Yes, 100%.
But thank you very much for those who are listening. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.